Okay, good evening and welcome to Silverstone for round 10 of the Simming GPVWC Supercup series. Practice session is just coming to a close now, which means qualifying is just about to begin in the next 5 minutes or so. Had a few issues getting this set up tonight, but hopefully it's all working perfectly well for you. They're just advancing to the qualifying session now, as the race director Dave Carr-Smith moves it along. And tonight in the commentary box I actually have a partner, which is a rarity indeed on these Supercup broadcasts. I'm usually on my own, and it is the one and only Scott Woodwis, who I consider one of the best commentators around at the moment in sim racing, so it's a privilege to be commentating with him. So hopefully he's here as well. Good evening, Scott.
You're too kind, Lee, you're too kind. Yes, good evening everyone. Hope you're all well. I just thought I'd jump in the commentary box for a rare occasion to enjoy a Supercup race. I do usually just watch or spectate, is it separately, or I did take part in a couple of races at the beginning of the season, but yeah, just thought I'd jump in and give a little bit of a hand and just see what occurs this evening.
Obviously we thank you for that, Scott. You're always welcome. As you're just watching the cars make their way onto the circuit now, we're currently watching Petter Kassar, who was fastest in that practice session, from the returning Martin Schumacher. So it's great to have the Schumacher name back up on the grid once again. Alex Cooper was third in the second of the CSG racing cars, from Philip Cullen in fourth place. Terry Grash was fifth. Simon Crane was up in sixth position actually. That was a great effort from Simon Crane there. Adam Rouse 7th, Jack Nicholls 8th, Boyd Bryson was in 9th, Andrew Morgan finished the session in 10th position. There were 30 drivers in that session taking part, so we got 15 each down tonight, Scott, so I'll carry on to the top 15. We have Bart DeVos, who was 11th, Mindergaus Clumbis was 8th position, Georgios de Varkos 13th, Wesley Morrison in 14th, and Nick Phillips 15th, which leaves you the last 15.
Yeah, from what I can see before they finished the lap, Marek Skranowski was 16th, Roy Scroton 17th, Scott Bennett 18th, Jeff Mead was 19th for PB Racing, 20th Morten Verneson for Green Stripes, 21st Timu Toika, 22nd Alex Rolls, 23rd Chris Allen, 24th Matthew Chan. He's a new driver this evening for Indivision Racing, I believe he's from Hong Kong. And we've got Miles Dixon in 25th place, Mark Wicks in 26th, Chris Williamson in 27th, and I believe that's Nick Newcomb in 28th and Andres Pestos in 29th. So we've lost one driver, but still a packed out field this evening, so there should be a pretty hectic time out on track tonight, Lee.
Yeah, we saw the cars coming out of the pit lane a second ago and it was extremely congested there. Hoping tonight we can get a few more interviews for you in between the actual sessions. I've tried to get in touch with a few people between the races, the last race and this race. And obviously Scott was one of the people who's jumped in and says he'll give an hand and things like that. We're basically trying to give you more coverage as we go along. It's difficult sometimes to cover every single aspect, and with the drivers' help sometimes we can get more feedback, which is always handy. So tonight we've got a couple of drivers lined up where we can get interviews, not just after the race, hopefully before the race, just after this qualifying session, give us our thoughts, and also some spectators as well might be joining in. So if any of you out there want to join in and you're not actually racing but you're just spectating, or if you're a team manager, a team owner, even if it's not in Supercup as such, then please do get in touch and we will give you a slot in the commentary. Obviously we can bring you in, interview you on live feed, and you can get your thoughts out to the people watching.
Just watching what's going out on track. I'm just watching Petter Kassar here. I've tried to set up my timing screen so it shows me sectors and bits and pieces, but it's kind of glitching out a little bit and showing me other people's sectors whilst I'm watching one person, which is a little bit inconvenient. Just watching Petter Kassar here as he comes down towards Stowe Corner. Fantastic corner this. Took it down a couple of gears and then just power back on the throttle through it, and then flip down a few more gears after the short straight towards Vale. And now what's now a two-part corner at Club. It used to be one long corner, but it's now they've made it like a double apex. But we've got Petter coming across the line, and he's slower than the current fastest man, which is Alex Cooper on a 1:36.295. Looking down, we've got Jack Nicholls has gone to third on a I'm trying to bring the times there, but they keep changing. Jack Nicholls is currently third with Roy Scroton fourth, and Boyd Bryce is in the top 5. I mean, for me personally, I love Silverstone. It's one of my top 5 favourite circuits in the world. It's up there for me with like Le Mans and the Nürburgring. It's a wonderful circuit because it's got such a nice flow to it, and you can. It's an extremely fast circuit. There's lots of very fast and free flowing sections that you just you can just throw a car into a corner, and if you've got the confidence and the grip in it, it'll just stick. I mean, I'm watching Kassar now, pretty much here from Luffield all the way through. I believe it's probably Stowe. That's probably one of the best sequences of corners in the world, in my opinion, because it's absolutely fantastic. Going through Cops now, almost flat through there, and then just literally Mags, Beckers and Chapel. It's just a sensation of speed that is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, apologies to the viewers there if you weren't actually seeing any cars on screen. That should now be sorted, and we're currently watching Alex Cooper on screen, as Scott just mentioned, is currently fastest in this session on a 36.2. Obviously Alex turned up the heat as such at the last race when he won in Turkey quite convincingly from Kassar. The top contenders were there, so he really did earn that victory there, and he's diving into the pits now, so we'll switch to some other cars. Columbus has jumped up to second position currently. You're watching him come through the old turn one now, which is Cops Corner, flat out in these cars. Car off there in the distance with no front rear wing, that looked like one of the tail enders anyway, but currently still have 28 cars in the server, which is pretty amazing. Once again, we have a pack, I say every race, we have a pack field every single race, which makes it extremely difficult for the drivers to get the qualifying laps in. Just a quick note, obviously tonight you join us live on simrace.tv. This is just our sponsor plug, which we always do, obviously, to give our sponsors the coverage they deserve. Simrace.tv obviously hosting this HD broadcast for you tonight. Obviously along with the title sponsor for the Supercup and Super League series, which is Simink. And obviously we have Live Racers who sponsor us as well with the live timing software, which is really great and useful for the middle of the week if you want to check out people's lap times, what fuel load they were running, all that sort of stuff, sector times. You can do a lot of comparison work on Live Racers. And obviously SimSync, we often forget SimSync, the effort they put in. SimSync obviously provide us with great software where we can basically all match up the models to each other and stuff like that. We have no issues with that sort of thing. Makes it so much easier to organise these series. And they're all joining us tonight for this broadcast. We hope you're all enjoying it so far. Obviously a lot of time to go in qualifying yet, 13 minutes to go. Martin Schumacher's just jumped up to second position. He's definitely going to be a podium contender tonight, and we have the two CSGs, first and second currently, Scott.
I think it's fantastic that to see second place MSC and to see M Schumacher out on track, and I know that's his name, but that's a fantastic sight. Knowing just how much a Schumacher fan you are, Lee, it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it did send shivers down the spine when he first joined the server, as I wasn't expecting it.
He's up as well. Sorry to cut. He's up as well. He's up by about 10th and a half in the second sector. So we'll have to keep an eye on Schumacher and see if he can put it on pole. How good would it be to say Schumacher's on pole position? That'd be fantastic. But we'll see if he can do it. He's now heading round the final couple of corners, and he'll super cross the line. He's got a 1:36.2 to beat. My timing sorts itself out. I'll see if he does beat it. And no, he lost the beat. 36.4, he lost a bit of time in that last sector.
Yeah, we were on board with him as he came through the final few corners. He did have a big twitch on out the final corner, which didn't really help his lap time as such, obviously showing the tyres might still not be at optimum temperature, or they might be past the best, because that was actually his third lap on those tyres. So, and this is quite a high tyre wear circuit. Obviously the high speed corners, you can see now watching Marek Skronowski in 6th position currently for Multiforce. I am going to pronounce his name correctly tonight, because I'm sick to death of saying Skronowski when it's Skronowski. It's extremely easy to say, it's just laziness that I can't say it, but we're currently watching him come through the final few corners now. He's on a decent lap here actually, so this could move him up slightly. He comes across the line 36.9, so it doesn't actually, no it does actually improve in lap time, so a lap there from Marek. And as you can see, a lot of high speed corners on this track, that contributes highly to the tyre wear.
Oops. I think, just looking at his sector times, one I can see here, I believe that his second and third sector times were sector 2 and sector 3, they were pretty quick. He just lost all his time in the first sector, so obviously I think Skronowski's up there. He possibly could get himself into the top 5, maybe the top 3, just need to find himself a few more tenths. So, as you can see, the top 6 is separated by less than a second. Boy, let's make that top 8. 136.2 down to 137.1, that's first to 8. That's a pretty competitive field, so going to be a lot of drivers duking out there for a podium place at least tonight.
Indeed, and I'm going to have to mention Martin, just like you did the previous lap. We mentioned his tyres might have gone off, but not on this lap, certainly. He's currently nearly 3 tenths up on Alex Cooper, who's currently in pole position. I think that's about to change, and it does indeed, because wow. Martin Schumacher tops the list with a 36 flat. Now that's pretty much the fastest time we saw in the practice sessions as well. So he's not really gone any faster than anyone did in practice. Alex Cooper currently tucked up in traffic, doesn't improve on a 37.1 just behind him. But Just looking down the field now, there's not really many drivers on hot laps apart from, well, they are on hot laps, but not hot laps in comparison to what Martin Schumacher's just done. Kassar is the only guy who's out on track, currently improving. Although Roy Scroton, currently in 5th position. I say currently in 5th because he's nearly 3.5 tenths up on his current time in Sector 1 alone. He's only a tenth off the current pole man Martin Schumacher as he comes round. You're watching him now on screen as he comes around the old start and finish straight into turn 1, flat out into turn 1, 170 miles per hour as we go for that apex there, and that hits it nicely. Obviously now heading into the, as Scott said, the ever impressive Maggots-Beckett's complex and onto the hangar straight, hooking the apexes nicely there, Roy. And obviously last race out he impressed us a hell of a lot with that second position. It was a very competitive second position, he was always there fighting for it, and he was the driver of the race, no end. And we're going to go on board with him now. He's only 2 tenths down, he's lost a tenth in the middle sector and on his own personal best as he now chucks it in to the fast right-hander at the top of the hill, obviously using all the curb on the exit. Now into the final few technical tricky bit of the circuit, and he's run slightly wide on the first bit there, which is going to compromise him on the exit, and he does get a slight twitch on the exit as well there, unfortunately for Roy. This may not improve now. Comes across the line, no, he lost half a second in that final sector, so the mistakes cost him there, unfortunately.
Yeah, he got a huge slide through club there, so that was rather unfortunate. Probably lost all his time through that section. It does seem to be that people losing time through the last section, probably the drivers that have higher wings than probably the front runners. I mean, probably the likes of Schumacher and Kassar, Cooper and Columbus, they're probably running like a low, that's probably his Scroton, but probably he's running them probably slightly higher just for the downforce. He's currently up again by about 1.5 on his own personal best first sector through here. Having said that, looking through some of the drivers, I can see that Peter Kassar has now split the 2 CSG cars. He's now second on a 1:36.174. He's only a 1.5 off the quickest time. And actually, Cooper has actually now gone to 3rd place with Columbus 4th. So it's now CSG Torrent the first 2 rows. And looking down the rest of the top 10, I can see just on the edges is actually Jack Nicholls. Obviously, if anyone knows motorsport commentary, you know, but Jack Nicholls is actually a commentator in real life. He does FIA, GT and Formula 2, and he does indulge in a bit of sim racing every now and again. He's currently 11th and sat in the pits on a 1:37.212. He's only about a tenth off Terence Grech to get himself into the top 10, so he's actually going back out again. So we'll see what he can do, as is Martin Schumacher going back out. So it's a pretty hotly contested top 10, so that's only separated by literally 1.08 seconds, so anything could change in the next 8.5 minutes or so.
Indeed, just watching Peter Kassar come across the line, he was up on his previous best time, but didn't improve in the final sector. Had a slight bit of traffic by the looks of it. Now, no one in the top 5 is currently on a lap that's going to do anything. The man who is improving slightly is Adam Rouse as he comes round the final few turns now. He's currently in 6th position. He's a tenth, just over a tenth up on his previous best time as he comes across the line. He's got a 36.8 to beat, and he beats it by 7,000th of a second. Unfortunately, that's not enough to move him up the grid. No one inside the top 10 now is on a lap that's going to do anything at the moment, so we have a little bit of a lull, although Kassar, I do have to disagree.
I was just about to say, Kassar actually in the first sector he's up by 200th of a second. I was just about to disagree with you there, but he's now coming up towards Ops Corner, and obviously the end of the second sector will be just out of the Maggots-Beckett's Chapel complex, so maybe we can jump on board with him as he heads through there. Let's see if he holds it flat.
Apologies for R-Factor crashing again to the that's the 4th time that's happened now. If this continues, I don't think we'll have a very successful broadcast tonight, so I'm going to have to rejoin, unfortunately. Try and get this solved. So at the moment we have no picture, but I'm sure keep you up to date with what's going off. And he's actually 10.5 up now, Kassar, going through sector 2, so it looks like Kassar's going to move into pole position. Unfortunately, we're not going to get to see it currently because once again he decides to play up.
He's going to head now through. I'll definitely keep you on track to see if he does go on top. And answer is he does. 1:35.9, and he's up only now by 900th of a second. So it looks like Schumacher's improved his time definitely. So that should be quite interesting to see how this battle for pole's taking place. It now stands Torrent, CSG Torrent the top 4. So and things are only going to get tougher. But I think what's fascinating is the battle that's going to be between. I'd say 4th down to 9th, because literally there's about only 0.2 of a second separating them, so literally that's going to be a fascinating battle to see who could just occupy the next few positions. And it obviously grid position is vital, especially in a place like Silverstone. But having said that, obviously it's a circuit where there's long straights, it's a very fast circuit by nature. So obviously it's a circuit that there'll be plenty of passing opportunities, especially down the long straight, such as down the Hangar Straight down towards Stowe, and obviously up towards the first corner at Abbey, and of course coming down the pit straight towards Copse, and also down the Wellington Straight towards Brooklyn. So there's plenty of passing opportunities available, but it just remains to be seen who's going to be the one to take it. And of course qualifying is an all-important phase to see get the best grip position possible, of course.
Yeah, we do now have live feed again, so you can see you're currently watching Adam Rouse, who's in 5th position. Obviously, unfortunately, we didn't get to see the special lap of Kassar, was the first man into the 35s so far. Only slightly faster than he went in practice, so it does seem that's the limit around the high 35s, low 36 mark. So currently we'll run down the order. We have 5 minutes to go, and before the next set of times come in, there's only a few drivers out on track at the moment, just warming up. So we've got Kassar fastest from Schumacher 2nd, Cooper 3rd, Columbus 4th. Adam Rouse up in 5th position, once again impressing. Roy Scroton, I bet he'd be disappointed now with a 6th place after last week, but Bart DeVos up in 7th, Marek Skronowski in 8th position, Andrew Morgan returning actually. We haven't seen Andrew for a few races now, I don't believe, and he's back now in 9th position, so showing once again he's got the pace. Philip Cullen up in 10th position. Hopefully we're hoping to get an interview with Philip later on. He's one of the drivers I was mentioning earlier. We have Terence Gresh, who's in 11th position, Jack Nicholls 12th, Morten Verneson 13th, Georgios Stavrakos 14th, Boyd Bryson 15th.
I will just jump in there quickly. You might want to switch to Alex Cooper because he's currently about 10th up on his personal best, and only about 10th off pole position, so possibly we can find some time. He may just get himself up into 2nd place. We'll find out in a second. Across the line he goes, and he stays 3rd, but he improves on his time by probably just about a fraction, so only by 5,000th of a second. Stays 3rd, but he's improved ever so slightly.
He does indeed. Obviously the position is changing every lap, so we'll give you the full rundown at the end of the session. Top 10 remains unchanged to what it was a minute ago. A couple of drivers on circuit. You're currently watching Schumacher, who's heading down the back straight, and Andrew Morgan's just jumped into 6th place actually, so a great lap from Andrew Morgan on his return. The NRT Racing team puts him up to 6th position now on a 36.7, so only 8 tenths off the pole position. Philip Cullen also just jumped up on a 36.8, which puts him in 8th position, so he's very close in the mid-pack. In fact, once you get past Alex Cooper in 3rd position, there's a massive gaggle of cars within, say, a second of each other, and that goes down to 15th position from 4th within 1 second, so hopefully we'll get some tight racing there in the midfield.
I'm just watching on Mindaugas Columbus. Apologies if I butchered that name. It's obviously a new name for me in terms of GPVWC. He's just starting another lap. He's currently sat 4th. He's see if he can possibly make any kind of effort to support his teammate. And he's actually, wow, I do believe he's actually up fastest first sector of anyone. He's up by about 600th of a second. So this could be a super lap from Columbus. We can hook it up all together. But actually, that's comparison to this absolute second fastest lap on my screen, for whatever reason. So he's actually faster than Schumacher by about 600th of a second. Which means he's probably obviously desperately close to his teammate as well. So if Columbus stays on the lap that he's on now and continues at this pace, he could possibly make it an all-time front row for... It won't be the first time that's happened, but we'll see exactly how well he fares as he just throws it through this complex of corners. That's just 4th on the exit as he goes through Chapel, across the sector split, and he's lost a bit more time. He's lost about another 10th or so, but I'll see where this puts him. He may possibly get himself into 3rd place. There's a car up on the left. It's Skronowski in the Multiforce car. But anyhow, hard on the brakes. Flicks it now through Vale. And short shift as he goes through Club. And where will this lap place him? Is he going to possibly leapfrog Alex Cooper? Well, the answer to that question is... No, he doesn't. But he does improve his time. He's now only 4 tenths off Kassar's time on pole. So... that's not too bad from Columbus. He's getting better all the time, and I can't help but think that some of that speed he's learnt off of the guys at Torrent, because they're an exceptionally experienced and fast squad. So I think that definitely some of the experience will be rubbing off on Columbus here.
Yeah, apologies if you're not seeing the on-screen action as such. Like Scott's obviously commentating for a lap. I probably didn't show it there. Just trying to sort out the issues having at the moment, because this really isn't working very well at the moment. I think we've got far too many cars in this server. It's causing some issues. Yeah, he's working okay at the moment, but it's apologies if you're getting some very strange glitches in weird picture coverage.
I consider there's anyone else possibly on another lap. Cassar's time, he's obviously had a mistake or something in the first sector because he's second off his best. So I do believe Martin Schumacher's cruising out on track. I think possibly, was he saving fuel or something? I'm not quite sure. He's cruising out on track. He's on a timed lap. So we've got Alex Cooper who's now starting another lap. I'm not quite sure where this first sector's going to put him. And he is actually...
He's back. Oh, he hasn't back, that's someone else.
It's actually showing me, I don't know why, my timing thing's showing me absolute second fastest driver. I don't quite show why. Oh, that's better. Absolute fastest driver. His first sector, I'll tell you what, he's only 7,000ths of a second off the time of Peder Cassar. So this could be an interesting lap if Cooper can haul himself up. And look at that. As to use a term from Sterling Moss, absolutely Harry Flatters through Copse Corner, and again through Maggots. And through Beckett's. Wow, look at the downforce on this car. He just threw it through Beckett's as well in 6th gear. That's amazing commitment. And up towards the sector line. And he's lost, look at that, he's lost 0.3 of a second in that second sector despite taking Copse all the way through to Beckett's absolutely flat. And he throws it into Stowe Corner.
Yeah, ignore the broadcast time I was watching it. It did show him half a second up, but he's actually half a second down. So there's a lot of issues going tonight with this at the moment, as per usual. But hopefully it'll keep going and sort it out for the next session. It's more stable now anyway. Just obviously we have the session's actually finished now. That's Cooper's final lap, doesn't improve. Cassar is also out on a lap, but he doesn't really need to do anything, I don't think. And manager Schumacher's actually just starting a lap, so watch Schumacher.
He's down by a hundredth of a second, so it seems to be that the top kind of 3 or 4 drivers, they seem to have very equal first sectors, but when it comes to the next 2, it seems to be that's where the difference is made. And obviously it obviously depends on what lines everyone's taking through the second sector here. I mean, let's see how Schumacher takes Copse Corner. And that's flat as well, as you'd expect. Tiny bit of curb on the exit, but keeps it nice and straight. And time disappeared off my screen, so I can't actually see what time he's on now. If we can switch it.
He's run slightly wide for today. He's coming now onto the hanging straight.
He's backed off. You see, he knows that time's not good enough, and he's backing off on that one. So that was a shame for him. But we have a Schumacher on the front row, but it's, I believe, championship leader Peder Cassar on pole position once again. So
yeah, he's just heading around the final corners now. Obviously on his final timed lap. We'll see if he can improve on this lap. Comes across the line. It's a 36.0. So yeah, that would have put him second on the grid. So Cassar has also got the consistency as well as the pace. The last Adam Rouse has just come around the final few corners now. He's heading onto the back straight, but it looks like he's on an in lap there. Yeah, I don't think anyone else on the time lap now as such. Terence Gresh did find some time in that final few corners there, defending a few laps. He jumped to 6th position from Malta Force, so a great lap there from Terence Gresh to put him up to 6th position on the grid. We'll run down the order now the session's finished. Obviously Peder Cassar just taken that pole position, which has put him in a good stead for the championship now. Obviously Alex Cooper won last time out. Cassar needs to reassert his authority. Martin Schumacher took 2nd on the grid. Alex Cooper was 3rd, Mindergaus Columbus was 4th, Adam Rouse 5th, Terence Gresh up in 6th after a great lap at the end, Andrew Morgan 7th position, Roy Scroton 8th, Philip Cullen 9th, Bart DeVos 10th, Marek Skronowski down in 11th position, that's disappointing for him, Jack Nicholls in 12th, Morten Verneson 13th, Josh Davakos 14th and Boyd Bryson in 15th.
We have Simon Crane in 16th, Scott Bennett in 17th, Nick Phillips sits 18th, 19th is Miles Dixon, 20th Jeff Mead, 21st Wesley Morris, 22nd Team Utoico, 23rd Chris Allen, 24th Matthew Challen, his first qualifying session, not bad getting to 24th, Mark Wicks 25th, Alex Rolls 26th, Chris Williamson 27th and Nick Newcomb sits 28th and at the back of the grid, 6.7 seconds off pole sitter Peder Cassar. I'm just going to walk in a second, and of course we'll use this time to conduct 1 or 2 pre-race interviews, kind of like a virtual kind of grid walk, if you like, before the race. And quick note, as ever, you can obviously keep track of what's going on within the world of GPVWC. We have several methods. Of course, the main way is obviously if you join us on the website, gpvwc.com. Front page always has the latest news and latest articles. You can also join the forums and join in the banter if you like, and then also if you think that you could fancy a go and possibly could take the fight to some of these top guys, then by all means sign up on the forums. We also have, of course, our Facebook page. It's GPVWC, or Grand Prix Virtual World Championship. I believe that's still going. Just search us on Facebook and just come to our page and give us a like, and that should have some new information there as well. You can also follow us on Twitter as well. It's at GPVWC. We haven't used it too much recently, but of course we try to use it as best we can. And of course we have a YouTube page as well. We have, you search GPVWC and look for the channel with that title name, and it gives you, at the moment I believe we're uploading recent broadcasts as well, full broadcasts. Obviously we'll try and get some highlights videos done as and when we can. So there's various ways you can keep track of us. So plenty of ways to keep up to date. And at the moment cars are now sat, I believe, at the end of the pit lane.
Right, we have the first. We have the first person who I was hoping to get over tonight. That's David Junt. I'm going to drag him down now. David Junt joins us now in the commentary booth. He's obviously not racing in the Supercup series tonight, but obviously he won the final race last week in the Formula Challenge event. And David, what are your thoughts as we're now into the warm-up session? Obviously, with 9 minutes to go until the race. What are your thoughts about the upcoming race?
I think it will be a tough one for us at Tiger Express, for example, because I mean I was nearly going to drive. I said I had to ask Chris to jump in because Josh Barton is not racing tonight as he has some personal issues he has to take care of, and Martin just now messaged me and wrote on the forums that he has got some issues with joining and then game crashing, so it looks rather difficult for us this evening, and it would be already a nice thing if we could finish. That's our main issue. Otherwise, I can't really focus on the other cars around. But I've seen that Martin Schumacher had a really good qualifying, and I think he could really show us a good show tonight.
David, it's Scott Woodward here. Nice to have you in the commentary box. Just give us your thoughts on who you think is going to be a top 5 for tonight. Do you think it's going to be another Torrent victory? Do you think possibly CSG can spring another surprise? Do you think possibly even Schumacher can get himself onto the top step of the podium? What are your thoughts on that?
Yes. I'm expecting a CSG and Torrent battle. I mean, Kassar is, as I've seen already at the last Grand Prix, he's good at maintaining his tires and pulling up some impressive strategies on old tires. So if he has another good race and uses his tires wisely and doesn't wet them too much, I could see him even win the race, even though it didn't work at Istanbul. But I would also count him to the one that could win the race. And otherwise I would say Alex and Martin will try his best to prevent him taking that win, and outside chance for everyone else too. I mean, no one's really too slow. I've just seen it will be truly a thrilling race, and Silverstone always brings good races, so I hope we see some good battles tonight.
Yeah, indeed, you've hit the nail on the head there, really, about the tyres as well. Obviously, tyre compound will be crucial around here because obviously high tyre wear circuit, so basically the consistency comes into play. Now we've also got, obviously, firstly thank you for your input there, David. We've also got Roy Scroton who's come to the box. Obviously he finished second last time out in Turkey after a great race. He's qualified, I think it was 8th tonight for Roy, if I seem to remember correctly. Roy, you're not looking as strong here as you were at Turkey. Are you as comfortable with the car? Is the setup correct? What are your aims for the race?
Yeah, hello, I'm starting as 8, that's correct. I don't have any grip on this track, so I don't know what it will be, what it is, but the race pace isn't as good as it was in Turkey. I just don't have any grip. It feels like I'm driving on a wet track with normal tires, so I don't know what it will be for the race, but I'm not looking forward to it very much, but we will see.
Well, what about the how is it in terms of tyre wear today? Do you think it's possibly going to be a race where you looking to be? It looks like your strategy is going to be on plan, or do you think you're going to be making more stops than you're expecting?
I will not do something special in the strategy. I think most guys will do a one-stopper here because because of the short pit entry and so. You don't lose much time in a pit stop, so I think a one-stopper will be it here.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Actually, one stop does seem the sensible option. I know a couple of people were talking about 2 stops, but I don't think that's the sensible option. I think 1 stop will be the way to go. We might see someone try something random, but like you say, Roy, it's pretty pointless when the pit lane is short. So thank you for your, obviously David Junt and Roy Scroton, especially because Roy is racing tonight. So thank you both for your input to this broadcast tonight. Thank you for your insight to both of you.
No problem.
No problem.
And good luck in the race, Roy, as well.
Yeah, thank you. Good luck with the broadcast.
Thank you very much, Mike. Good luck. I'll drag you back up to the top, David. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. So it's back to just me and Scott now in the booth, as we have 4 minutes 24 seconds left of this warm-up session. Currently Schumacher fastest on a 37.6 from Peder Casaro's second 37.7. As usual, the time has been very little during this session. There's a lot of traffic about, a lot of people, as you can see on the back straight there on the Wellington straight, practicing their starts. I think what we will do actually, obviously this track has changed over the years slightly compared to what it used to be. We're just looking now for a driver who is coming around to start a new lap, and we'll basically take you on an onboard lap. We'll use Morten Vernessen in 9th position. We'll go on board with Morten Vernessen. He's just come around the final few corners now, and we'll take you on an onboard lap of the circuit. Obviously it's changed slightly compared to the old track. This is now the main start straight, the international pit straight, as you head now into the farm curves and then village A. This is now the village B complex, the right hand, then you head into the hairpin, which I believe is the is farm bend as such is called.
I think it's the loop, I think actually.
The loop, sorry, yeah, the farm bends. Where are the farm bends now? Is this the next bit?
No, this is an entry here that comes to the straight. Single corners, I believe it's Abbey's first corner, then it's farm, village, loop, entry, and down Wellington straight down onto Brooklands now, I believe.
For some reason I'm getting farm bend mixed up there. Anyway, we're heading now into the Brooklands complex. Obviously this is a more familiar part of the circuit now. Lovefield, which used to be Lovefield A, Lovefield B, so now just one corner. Although it's naming by the grandstand, it still is Lovefield A, Lovefield B. Into Woodcote now, across the old start-finish line, into the famous Cops Corner, which is 100% flat out in pretty much every car you can go around now in this day and age. Back in the day it was a tremendously high-speed corner with very little chance of going flat for it. Now into the classic Maggots-Beckett complex, which is difficult at any time. It's basically one line through there. As you see, Vernessen running slightly wide on the exit to Hanger Straight now, which compromises you all the way down this back straight now. As you lose top speed on the exit, it just carries all the way down this next straight. Now into the again the very hair-raising Stowe corner, which is a 4th gear in the Super League cars. Not quite sure in these cars, presumably. Oh, and Vernessen spins as we're watching him board, has a huge impact with the wall there. And basically the final few corners after that will be club and onto the pit straight again. So a slightly disastrous onboard lap there as we go back to Schumacher. That and the fact that I was getting corner names wrong, which is pretty embarrassing considering it's my home Grand Prix. So thank you for jumping in there, Scott, with the correct answers.
Not a problem. I think
Alex Cooper just had a huge shot right in turn 1, so Alex Cooper just launched into the wall there, so obviously he's trying. Schumacher did a 37.0 last time round, and that's pretty competitive race pace by the looks of it.
He's going faster still on this lap, he's up by almost half a second. One thing I was going to say is that in terms of warm-up session, I think in most cases some drivers use it as a chance to just judge how the car feels with the current setup on race fuel and tyres. Obviously it gives them a chance to kind of suss out just how it feels and just have a bit of a plan as to how they're going to attack the circuit, because of course it's a very fast circuit, but it's not to say it's not exactly hard on tyres, because there's some very high speed corners, there's a lot of loads going on the tyre, so it's going to be a circuit which is going to be very pressing in terms of wear on. It's not a circuit where you're going to expect to have even wear across the tyre, I don't think, and of course that possibly could be crucial as to who looks after their tyres best and also who can keep them in good condition, especially through the high-speed sections. I think probably there's going to be a lot of cornering loads going through the tyres, so it'll be interesting to see how people manage it tonight in tonight's race.
Yeah, indeed, that's correct. It's the left-hand side tail that takes the way around here, obviously being a predominantly right-handed circuit. So the left-hand side, especially the left front, takes a lot of load as you're watching Terence Gresh come through this section now, and especially his next right-hander puts a hell of a lot of load on the tyre. If you flick it in now right, the left-handed side of the tyre really heats up. Doesn't get much chance to cool down either on this back straight as we're going forward with Terence. He's in the slipstream of the cars in front. Looks like his teammate actually just in front of him, not quite sure if it is, but yes it is actually, it is teammate Mike just in front of him, but yeah, and then there's not much chance to cool down because straight away we're into another fast right-hander, and that really puts a lot of stress on the tyres this second half of the lap. And obviously you get the slow section now we're coming into there, which we didn't see before with Vernus, and as Terence Gresh gets it all wrong as well, so drivers struggling in that final sector, that's for sure. Just quickly once again before this race starts, obviously thank you for tuning in, and you're joining us live on simrace.tv tonight for this Supercup British Grand Prix, sponsored by Sim Inc. Obviously the title series for the Supercup and Super League series. They're basically making simulation reality all linked up. And you can find out about our sponsors actually on the website. I didn't actually know this page existed until the other day, which is fun to find. But there's basically a sponsors page or a partners page on the website, and on there it shows the what the sponsors are and what they do. Obviously why they're part of the league, what benefit they are to the league. Obviously we thank them all for being with us as the session now moves to the race session. And the grid just takes shape. The qualifying times there just on the screen, so you can run down them, see where your favourite driver is. Once again, if you have any predictions, comments you'd like to get in, please feel free to do so. Fabulous complex on the left hand side, you can see there the wing as such. Obviously the British Grand Prix at the weekend, a huge success despite the weather. Thankfully today we have clear blue skies as the warm up gets underway. Couple of penalties tonight. I believe Jeff Mead had a +5 grid penalty, not quite sure on the other one, but I know Jeff had a +5 penalty. Kassar leads them away. We'll run down the order for you on this outlap. Peter Kassar leads the way from Martin Schumacher second, Alex Cooper third, Mindergaus Columbus, so it's basically Torrent CSG front two rows. And you've got Alan Rouse 5th position, Terence Gresh 6th, Andrew Morgan 7th position, Roy Scroton 8th, Philip Cullen 9th, Pat DeVos 10th, Marek Skrzynkowski in 11th position, Jack Nicholls 12th, Morten Vernessen 13th, Jojo Stavrakos 14th, Boy Bryson 15th. Simon Crane doing a much better job lately. He's up in 16th position there. Doesn't sound too high, but he's usually a lot way down from that, so that's pretty good effort from Simon there. Scott Bennett 17th position, good effort from him also. Nick Phillips 18th, Miles Dixon 19th. Miles once again a minute ago discussing what he'd had for dinner, and I believe the topic of conversation was garlic and bacon, which obviously is a delightful treat before a Grand Prix.
Absolutely.
Wesley Morris in 20th position. But it's telling me that he's focused more on race consistency this race. So hopefully Wes can have a more consistent race. He usually struggles during the race sessions. Chris Allen 21st, Matthew Chan, as you say, Scott doing an excellent job in his first event for Innovision 22nd, Mark Wicks 23rd, Alex Rolls 24th, Jeff Mead 25th, Chris Williamson 26th, Nick Newcomb 27th, and the final driver on the grid is Timo Toiko. I don't believe set a time in that session because he had a +10 grid penalty for causing an avoidable accident in Turkey, so he decided not to set a lap time. And that pretty much takes us through the entire grid. As you see, the driver's desperately trying to get heat as we come down the back straight. We're looking back from Peter Kassar now. Scott, we've got a few corners before we get to the line. What are your predictions for the race?
I think it's definitely going to be a battle between Torrent and CSG, obviously with the top four dominating those positions. I think dark horses today, Andrew Morgan definitely. He's only 7th, but he did win in Canada before he took his break, so definitely don't count him out. I think also Jack Nicholls maybe could surprise himself a top 10 finish. He's pretty handy with in terms of sim racing from what I've seen. Who else could possibly surprise? I think possibly Multiforce, never count them out. Obviously Greg and Skronowski, two fairly strong drivers. Had some fairly strong results recently, so we'll have to see how they get on. But you say cars coming around now the first couple of corners. And obviously Peter Kassar will come onto the front straight and to use my, well, I suppose like a patented phrase, you want to stack the pack, get them on in as close as possible, and almost goes onto the curb there as he does a burnout. And we're getting set then for 36 laps of this brand new Silverstone Arena circuit. Obviously first time we're using it in the Supercup, first time we're using it with the new pit complex, and we're just seconds away from the start. And we'll wait for the 5 red lights, and the course will be underway here at Silverstone.
Yeah, indeed, very congested at the back. We're using the fabulous sweeping camera we have down the grid there. You can see it sweeping on now as the final cars come into position. And that is pretty much it. The cars are all nearly in position now. And the 2012 Simink GPVWC Supercup Series Round 10 Silverstone British Grand Prix. The 4 lights are now on and the 4 lights are now off. And let's see who gets the best start. It's Kassar off the line. Look at Schumacher. Schumacher and Kassar's spun. Kassar's gone to the side and Schumacher takes lead. We're watching the wrong person because Schumacher is in the lead. So we have Martin Schumacher in the lead. What's happening behind, Scott?
One of the Innovation cars has lost its. Well, I thought he'd lost his front wing. Alex Rolls and Matthew Chan, and Columbus has spun as well. Columbus has had a bit major problem. He's at the back as well. Disastrous start.
Disaster for Torrent. Disaster for Torrent. Kassar's down in 14th position in a bit. We're looking at the wrong car. Sorry, we're looking at the pit lane for some reason.
Car spun. Sorry, Nick Phillips has spun up at the loop corner, and it's chaos on the first lap. We're trying to see who's going through the field. Sorry about interrupting me, but it is battles everywhere. 3 wide down towards Brooklands. Oh, there's another contact. Chris Allen's been punted round as contact with Davicos here. It's absolute chaos in the first lap of that. And Kassar is back up to
11th already. He's flying through the field. Kassar up to 11th position, just looking on the inside of Philip Cullen for a woodcut. I'm sure Phil will respect, obviously, that he's the championship leader. Phil not aiming for anything so high tonight. But basically, as we come now into Magus Beckett, you see the 2 CSGs, line astern. It's Martin Schumacher leading from Alex Cooper in second. So great start. This is just what CSG wanted. Terence Gresh up in 3rd position. He's got Andrew Morgan, the dark horse of the race that you mentioned in the warm-up session, all over the back of him. But look at that, Roy Scroton as well, who says he wasn't expecting much from this race. Roy Scroton, we're going to go on board. Well, we're going to try. Roy Scroton in 5th position. He's right on the back of Andrew Morgan. He's looking to the outside now as he comes to Stowe Corner. Don't think he's about to do much around here, but he's trying on the outside. This will be a fabulous move if he can pull it off. He's just going to miss out there. Andrew Morgan defends well there. So Roy looking very competitive in that 5th position. Pedder Castar still tied to 11th position, can't get past Philip Cullen as Andrew Morgan misses out there, and Roy Scroton gets the position. Roy Scroton moves up to 4th position through the final few corners there. Andrew Morgan trying to fight back down the inside as we head into turn 1. That's a very dangerous, risky manoeuvre, and that was nicely backed out there from Andrew Morgan because Roy Scroton would have been taken off the circuit there as far as I'm concerned.
Looking back down to the field, trying to see if there's any more battles going on as the first lap ends. So we've got Nichols and Cullen side by side. Cullen's up the inside, Nichols into the loop, and look at Kassar.
He's trying to take advantage. He nips through.
Look at that. Through the entry corner, and just I looked at Nichols lost 2 places in 1 corner.
And we're on board now. We're on board with Vernison, and that's Cullen coming down our inside there. We're seeing now as he tries to have the inside. The tyre's still very cold, obviously, in this mod, and the driver's struggling. But Kassar trying to take full advantages. Kassar will set it up with a wide line now on the exit, I'm sure. But he's got to be careful because Cullen's right on the inside, though. Cullen looking back on the inside, that was very close. So this is a huge scrappy. So Kassar trying to take advantage there and get the drive off the corner. But Cullen says, no, you're not doing that because I'm going to try and make my move. And they're side by side now to turn 1. That's Vernison and Cullen trying to get past Kassar, trying to make the most of this in the background. Kassar's got a run now on Cullen, who's in the slipstream of the car in front of Vernison. So, this is going to be nasty. Is that Rout? That's Nichols. Sorry, trying to get involved as well. Nichols trying to take back Kassar in the background there. We're going to look at Nichols on board. You can see on board that's Kassar just in front of us now. We've got a good view here. Kassar's really in the slipstream in front of Cullen. And we'll be able to see this from Nichols' view, but Nichols behind us has got someone in his slipstream as well, so there's cars trying to pass left, right and centre. Kassar ducks to the inside. We're seeing this live on board from Jack Nichols, and he gets past Cullen there, so a nice move from Kassar there.
And also, like I said, Kassar actually, obviously both good moves from Cullen and Kassar to move up through the field. I try to see Alex Cooper's just set the fastest lap of the race, 1:37 of 5:29. Also rounding out, I'll tell you he's doing not too bad. Scott Bennett up in 14th. Don't usually see him up near the front, but no disrespect Scott, but he's up there in 14th, holding off Simon Crane. Chris Allen and
turn 1 got nasty then. Sorry, Vernison went wide then into turn 1. That's let Kassar through. That's let Kassar through into 8th position now. He's still got Cullen all over the back of him.
And Nichols and DeVos as well. Oh no! Vernison's gone round. He's tagged DeVos as well.
He has indeed.
And Crane's taken advantage of that. He's gone through. He's now up to 12th place. But he might just nab 11th. Just on the exit of entry, he takes the wide line around the outside, and he does indeed move up. He's now up to 11th place, not quite. They're side by side down towards Brooklands corner. The Voss holds the outside line. Crane's going to try and go brave and try and go around the outside field. Happy inside for Lovefield, and he again tries it, but he's now this time puts his foot down a bit more, and he does indeed. The Voss helps him out a bit more, unintentionally, by getting a bit of a tank slapper on the exit of Lovefield. But Crane moving up through to 11th place, and now. We've got yellow flags out there. We've got someone else who's spun, I think. see who that possibly may have been.
There's a big battle going on for 5th position currently. You have Roy Scroton in 4th, you're currently watching on your screen. He's just behind Terence Gresham in 3rd. Andrew Morgan all at the back of him, Skronowski, and then Rouse just on the back of this. Obviously Kassar now trying to close that gap as well. So basically, end of lap 2, we're just going to quickly switch to leaders. The two CSGs lead the way as we come to the end of lap 2 to start lap 3. Martin Schumacher leads the way from basically a second from his teammate Alex Cooper. Martin doing the perfect team job here, pulling his teammate along. They have nearly a 5-second gap on Terence Gresham, who's in 3rd. Roy Scroton's up to 4th position, battling with Andrew Morgan. We're going to switch to that. Schumacher sets the fastest lap this time around. It'll be interesting to see what Kassar can do when he gets some clean air, because obviously he was fastest in the practice sessions. He doesn't improve this time by, but obviously he had some traffic at the beginning of the lap. Andrew Morgan 5th, Marek Skronowski in 6th position, but looking to challenge for that 5th position. We're looking now, Skronowski on the outside of there of Morgan, and there's a slight contact there, and Rouse trying to take advantage now in the background. You see that Rouse in our background picture. Quickly keeping down the order, we've got Kassar 8th position. Done well to get back up to 8th actually, Peter Kassar, because at the back of the field after lap 1. Jack Nicholls into 10th position, Simon Crane 11th, still battling with Bart DeVos for that 11th position, with Morten Verneson just on the back, Scott Bennett 14th, and Alex Rolls 15th.
Just quickly seeing the newcomer map from China, unfortunately 22nd, he's spun just after the, just going through Violin Club. He's got back going again, but of course he's way behind now 21st place Miles Dixon, who's quite a few seconds up the road, so tough stuff for the rookie. Oh, but someone else has gone wide, Simon Crane's gone wide over Brooklands! Oh, he always takes it Alex Rolls. Rolls goes sliding across the grass, and he gets back going again, so Indivision are having a very tough time of it so far.
Contact there, that's big quick, we're just watching, that's Gresh. So that's Scroton just in front of us there for 4th position. Andrew Morgan getting very close onto the entry there to Magnus Beckett's complex. They went in side by side and there was no room for two cars, and made very heavy contact there actually, and that's put Scroton a little bit in front now, and this has given Skronowski the chance to get the toe on Morgan. Skronowski now, we're on board with Skronowski, but Scroton got the toe there. Morgan got the toe of Scroton there, which held his position. Now Morgan's on the inside. We're watching on board Skronowski still. Marek will break slightly earlier. No, he doesn't actually. He runs very wide. And that's Stu's tapped in the back there. Is that Rouse?
That's Rouse. Rouse lost it under braking on the entrance to Vale, and in the process, he went backwards into Skronowski. Thankfully, I think there's not too much damage from both of them, but they've got back going again. But unfortunately, that was last of the late breakers from Rouse. He did actually have a run up the inside, but just lost it under braking, and fortunately tagged Marek with him.
Yeah, Marek just weaving there to check his car still in one piece. That was a huge impact. We were on board there with Marek, and all of a sudden I was going to say he's gone very wide in the braking zone. Obviously you can see why he was trying to avoid that, but this is really helping Peter Kassar. He was up to 6th position now, amazingly, after that dreadful start where he did off the line. That was one of the worst starts I've seen. It's even worse than mine. But Schumacher and Cooper still leading up front by 6 seconds now, so the CSG's really got this one in the bag at the moment, because they weren't that much slower than Kassar in the practice sessions. So if they can keep this consistent and get the gap still, keep putting the gap up while Kassar's in traffic, get it to say 15 seconds or so, which is perfectly possible. Kassar's now 10 seconds behind. He's got 3 cars to pass before he gets to Cooper, and then he's got a 9-second gap to make up. So he's got a lot of work to do, Kassar, if he wants to win this race, but he's not too dented in the championship. Obviously we'll run down the championship positions when the action sort of sorts itself out. We have 3 retirements. Team of Toyota Columbus, who we saw on lap 1, get tagged, and Devarkos also out, which is a shame for them, but still 26 cars remaining.
May have 25 as Wesley Morris is currently trying to struggle back to the pits without a front wing in the position of Jeffsky. He's managed to get himself back to the pits. There's an extremely wide run through Stoke Corner. He's now trundling through here, but again that's not quite ideal for him in terms of his plans to move up through the field, but especially for his race as a whole, I should say. I think Jeff Mead's struggling as well, because he just got it very, very loose through the village as well. So I'll tell you what, 5 laps then, we've had so much action, it's unbelievable. Yeah,
I'll tell you what though, one man who isn't struggling, that's Jack Nicholls. We're on board now. Jack Nicholls racing Philip Cullen for that 7th position. He's just taken it, but he's taking it now on the exit as well, and that's giving his teammate Rouse, who we just saw making that contact, to get on the inside. He's going to take both of them. No, they're going 3 wide into the one. This is going to be in tears. Rouse backs out this time, but Cullen goes wide. This is going to give Rouse the opportunity to pass, because he's very slippy on there. But Rouse actually got a good drive at the final corner there, couldn't do anything with it. Cullen taps the back of Nicholls. He was having a great race up in 7th position. We've seen Nicholls get taken out about 3 or 4 times in the last few races. Cullen gets sideways off the exit of the previous corner. So we're going to go on board with Cullen looking back. That's Rouse just behind us. Rouse, he's going to have a run, and he's right in the slipstream. You can see his wing closing very close now. Cullen goes to the inside, just not fast enough to make the move.
Just ahead, Kassar is right on the back of Andrew Morgan. He had a great run down the Wellington Straight, and now he's got a great run out of Luffield. It's probably only a matter of time he gets past Morgan. It's going to be a case of when and where rather than if he's going to get past, I think.
Yep, we're on board now with Kassar, as you say. we're on board now with Kasai into Magnus Becker's complex. He's basically in the toe, so all he needs to do is keep it very close for his next left and right, and that's Morgan going in very deep to the second part of the complex, and now this is giving Kasai the perfect opportunity. If Morgan wants to defend this position, he's going to have to go right to the inside, which is exactly what he does. Kasai's got nowhere to go. He's just sat in a slipstream. Now he'll duck out to the left, I'm sure, but Morgan makes two moves there in some respects. He comes back to the middle of the circuit, so he has to be careful then, Morgan. Obviously returning somewhat to the racing line, so that was slightly over defensive there from Morgan, but he had to come back as Schumacher once again sets the fastest lap. This gives Kasai the opportunity though, because Morgan goes in very deep. Can he make the switch back? Can he get the switch back? He did this lap before to someone else, and now he's coming up the inside, but Morgan will have the straight line speed.
No. I'm sorry, I have to interrupt. We've had some major goings on with the that three-hour battle between the two Walker cars and Philip Cullen. First of all, if I get a replay of it, as I'm quickly fast forward, it all started going through Stowe, coming out Stowe corner, and Rouse actually got it sideways and went off the road. Then it was actually Cullen trying to get back up the inside of Brejik. Rouse just dropped it on the exit of Stowe, and Cullen took it up the inside of Nichols into Vale, and he lost it under braking because he saw Nichols turning in, and that in the process caused Cullen to spin. He lost 3 positions. He's down to almost 4 because he's had Morten Verneson just come up his insides, but that's dramatic battle we watched a couple of laps ago. It's all gone wrong for those 3.
Yeah, some debris in the track there as well that Kasai and Morgan just had to avoid there. They're still battling tooth and nail, but this is Kasai now 12 seconds behind the leader Schumacher, who keeps setting fastest laps, and the 2 CSG cars now have a 7-second cushion of Terence Gresh third position, who's being caught by Roy Scroton in 4th. So Roy Scroton, who wasn't expecting much from this race, currently up in 4th position and looking at the back of a podium at the moment. As Kasai, once again, it's very close. We're going to try and see if Kasai can make the move this time round. He does need to get by him, but once again Morgan will just go defensive. We're looking back from Morgan now. Morgan stays to his left hand side, the right hand side from Kasai's view, and you can see Morgan's got a very quick car in a straight line, so I'm sure that's not helping Kasai trying to get past him. Kasai now, as we go into the Stowe corner, once again can't let Mills gun, but he's got a good run off the exit there. Will he launch it down the inside? He's looking to do so, but Morgan defends once again into the final few corners. Morgan defensive driving, really good, but he runs slightly too deep because Kasai goes around the outside. Kasai now takes the 5th position. I'm sure he'll just pull away, but he's got to be careful because that Andrew Morgan NRT racing car is very high top speed. We're going on more with Morgan now. Morgan looking to retaliate. He's going to turn 1. He's got the top speed. Has he got the line and make contact? Oh, they take it. That was very silly from Morgan. That was really not needed from Morgan. He should never try to do that. That was very dangerous driving there. Thankfully, Kasai's continued and didn't get any damage from that. But that really wasn't needed at all. He had the line, but he was just far too optimistic into that corner. That's put Andrew Morgan out of the race. Thankfully, as we say, Peter Kasai managed to carry on from that, so no damage done as such, apart from it's just ruined Andrew Morgan's race. And this puts Scott Bennett, you just mentioned a minute ago, Scott Bennett now into 11th position.
Also, just whilst that sequence was going on, I just spotted on the replay, Adam Rouse has just gone into the pits. He actually lost his front wing coming out of the final corner after that little altercation between him, Jack Nichols and Philip Cullen. He's in the pits now. He has to struggle around without a front wing. He just lost it on the exit of the final corner, and that in turn put him spinning into the wall on the pit straight, and he had to struggle round without a front wing. He's down, I believe, way down. He's down at the moment around about 20th place, so that's not good for him. That's pretty much his race fully compromised, I think, and for any chance of making a good result, it's pretty much gone out the window, unfortunately. Just see Peter Kasai going quite ragged over the curbs on the exit out of Chapel as he now goes in search of for Roy Scroton. Terence Gresh just ahead of just negotiated through past Jeff Mead. So, but the 2 CSG cars, I have to admit, they're just running away with this. They're doing a race of their own on this one.
You've got to believe that Cooper's just doing Schumacher's doing a team job at the moment. Obviously, they won't let him win the race, I would have thought. I can't see CSG letting Schumacher, unless obviously Cooper retired, but at the moment I can't see Alex Cooper not taking this victory, because obviously he's still with a chance for the championship, and especially Kasai at the moment down in 5th position, 15 seconds now off the lead. So Kasai, it's pretty hopeless that he's going to win this race unless something happens to the 4 drivers in front of him. As you're watching the 2 Halicon Racing guys go side by side through turn 1, DeVos defending his position there, so no team orders at Halicon Racing. Obviously we saw the 2 and one team that really has destroyed its own race is Hawkeye Racing. Jack Nichols and Adam Rouse have really fallen down the order now, although actually Jack Nichols is still in 6th, sorry, I do apologise. Jack Nichols still up in 6th, doing a great job. Obviously Adam Rouse made the mistake and it's cost him a lot of positions. Obviously Kasai as well. I wonder if he's got damage from that contact, because it was a hefty whack from Morgan he took into that turn 1. And Cooper just sat at a second gap to Schumacher at the moment. Doesn't seem too unhappy to be there at the moment either. So obviously the 2 CSGs have got this race in the bag at the moment.
Looking through the field. I just want to quickly correct something on the names. I hate to be pedantic, but I believe the name for the team, I think, is actually Halcyon instead of Halcyon. I think it's Halcyon. I think, but never mind. They are DC battling through the Magnus Beckett's and Chapel complex. Cullen may have a nice enough run on the boss, depending on what kind of toe he can grab down the hanger straight. And also watch out for Morten Verneson. He's only just behind as well. Trying to look at the fastest lap. We haven't had a new fastest lap yet for quite a while, as the two Halcyon cars go line astern through there. Scott Bennett still trundling along in 11th place, as we said. Decent run from him. He doesn't, no disrespect, he doesn't usually get he isn't used to up this fast. So I'm sure he'll be chuffed with this kind of performance. He's doing well. He's a few seconds ahead of Chris Allen in the other Green Stripes racing machine. And then we've had, I was watching a lap ago, a battle between Simon Crane and Alex Rolls down the back straight, and also Nick Newcomb's trying to get himself into that one. That's about for 13th place. They're fairly close in proximity to each other, so that's a fairly decent battle. And then we've got, just looking back, Boyd Bryce just ahead of Chris Williamson with Mark Dixon jumping in. So the two No Fear cars, a team I actually used to drive for in the first few races, they're having a bit of a tough time of it, but with Mark Dixon and Nick Newcomb in the driver's seats, but feel things will get better. Adam Rouse has rejoined. He's now down in 21st place, only just ahead of Nick Phillips. So it's kind of mixed fortunes at the moment for those two cars, but also Mark Wicks is out, as you just go back on the retirement. Andrew Morgan, Wesley Morris is out, Timu Toyka, Columbus and Devarkos are all out of the race. It's a fairly big rate of attrition. We're only 9 laps into this race, so still got a long way to go. As two CSG cars are kind of running a line astern at the moment through Stowe Corner. Schumacher just holding a nice kind of steady, about 1 second gap to his teammate, and Cooper's closing slightly on the braking as they go through Vale. Terence Grech is doing well to hold on to 3rd place. Lawrence Grech in 4th, and Pedersen, I'll tell you what, he's absolutely just closing in at the best, hand over fist at the moment. Looking at the previous lap times, trying to look at the comparison, and not much coming off my screen in terms of that one, but it looks like, from what I can see, Kassar has been running fairly decent lap times, but also just looking behind, Jack Nichols has now just passed Nick Phillips, or lapped him, and Sconassi just ahead of him. And then we've got that throughway scrap between Cullen, DeVos and Verneson. So it's all kind of action stations through the field, and Kassar now is now right on the back of Scroton now, as they exit the arena section and go onto the I've forgotten the name of the straight, Wellington Straight. I've forgotten the name of the straight there. But he now possibly could be on the back of him with him a next, I'd say, possibly lap and a half, I'd say, even sooner.
Yeah, and these two Halicon guys, Cullen and DeVos, obviously we're watching on screen, the two closest cars on track at the moment. They're also catching, despite the fact that they're battling, they're also catching Skonowski in front. Now I'm sure Skonowski's got damage, obviously he had a big contact, he's had about 2 collisions now unfortunately, neither was his own fault. And I believe he does have damage in that car because he's really off the pace at the moment. He's struggling to get that car on the track. Jack Nichols has pulled a significant gap on him of nearly 2 seconds now, and he was right behind him a moment ago. And Kassar now, this is the closest battle on track. Kassar is right into the back of Scroton now, because a minute ago Scroton spun at the old turn 1. Thank you to Jason Muscat for pointing that out to us as well. He spun at the old turn 1 corner, which is Cops Corner, and this has given Kassar the opportunity to get right in the slipstream of Roy Scroton now in the Synergetic Motorsports car. Kassar looking to the outside. He won't make the move there, or will he make the move there? He's trying it, and he's done it. He's got himself positioned on the exit. What a superb move. He's got to be careful that Scroton doesn't come back at him. He does. He covers the inside line very well there. So what a great move that was from Peder Kassar. That's championship material. That's Jensen Button 2009 Brazil style for you, that. He's not bothered what happens. He wants that win, and he's chasing for it. The problem is he's got a 15-second gap, so he's actually still matching the leaders.
Oh,
in fact, Scroton, yeah, getting very sideways. 36.7 last time round for Peder Kassar, which was his fastest lap of the race. That was a good 5/10, half a second faster than the two leaders are doing. So Schumacher's dropping off the pace slightly. This has allowed Cooper, who we're going to look at now, you see, just in front of us now, that is Martin Schumacher. So Schumacher's dropped off the pace the last few laps. Got a bit of traffic, but I don't think that's to blame. I think Schumacher's just dropped off the pace slightly, and this gives Cooper the opportunity to get very close to see Schumacher. And he's pushing, he's squeezing him, so there are no team orders at CSG, I've been told from Dave Carr-Smith, but this puts Cooper on the inside. Now we've seen this happening to turn 1, Cooper takes a sensible pill and backs out of it though, so these two are actually racing, despite the fact that Kassar is now into 4th position and only 15 seconds behind him and lapping faster. These two guys are actually racing, so we've got a Schumacher-Cooper battle up front. This is great, this is what we want to see, so thank you to Dave Carr-Smith for confirming that. And Cooper gets very sideways there as he heads onto the back straight. That's blown that battle for a lap or two. But Dave Carr-Smith has confirmed there are no team orders at CSG Racing. So it's basically between them two, and you saw there Schumacher doing his teammate no favours. He's not interested if Cooper's in a championship battle. He wants to win this race for himself, and he's going the right way about it at the moment.
Kassar still holding station ahead of Scroton as they go down the hangar straight towards. Look at Scroton. Scroton's actually closing right up on the back of Kassar in the tow as they head through Stowe Corner. Kassar's going to try and hold the inside line, depending on just how much Scroton's willing to risk to try and get himself back fast again remains to be seen. But they're heading now through the final couple of cars back onto the pit straight. We're now on to lap 12 of 36.
Whoa, Nichols! Sorry, Nichols in 6th position. He's been taken over there. That was. I'm sure that was Jeff Mead. He's upside down. Nichols there. He's now well down in 9th position. He's managed to get it going again. I'm sure that was Jeff Mead who he had contact with there. He went down the outside and basically the guy who was lapping ran into him. I'm sure it was Jeff Mead. Might not be though, so I do apologise if it's not Jeff.
Just have a look on the replay. Let's have a look. He went into. Oh no! That's what it was. Oh, it looks like this car just glitched. I think. Looks
and
like
Roy Scruton coming back at Kassar, sorry, as well. Roy Scruton, as you mentioned a minute ago, even though despite the fact that it was only 2 laps ago that Kassar passed him, Roy Scruton was having a fantastic scrap with compared to Kassar. We're looking now at the battle for the current 4th position. Obviously that's put Jack Nichols well down. He was having a great race in 6th position. He's put him down to 10th position now. He's still up in the points as Scruton goes down the inside into the Copse corner, and what a slight contact there as they go through the apex. We're going to go on board with Scruton as they come into the Magnus Beckett's complex. He's still in the slipstream, so Scruton has not given up on this, and they're both catching the leaders once again, as the 2 leaders are very close together once again. We'll keep an eye on that. Terence Gresh holding his own in 3rd position, doing a great job for Motorforce, but Kassar and Scruton still together, and we've seen last time round how much of a tow Scruton gets off Kassar. His car's very quick in a straight line. I don't think he's going to be close enough, although he's closing up very quick as we come into the braking zone. He doesn't make the move this time by, but they're still both catching. It's down to 14 seconds now, the lead that Kassar is behind Schumacher and Cooper. So we've got to watch out for that. Skronowski 6th, Cullen 7th, Bart de Vos, the 2 Halicons still together. Slight gap between them now though. Morton Vernerson up in 9th position, Jack Nichols down to 10th, Scott Bennett still in 11th position doing a great job. But Jack Nichols there, the innocent party in that incident, like you say, maybe a glitch, but it's a shame because he's back down to 10th position now.
I think from my screen it actually glitched out a little bit. It looks like he just got tagged on the entry into Vale, it looks like. But it's interesting because Roy Scruton said he wasn't really expecting a tough race, but look at that, he's actually up there fighting for 4th place for the championship leader. So I wouldn't really call that tough, although he's having a hard slog trying to get his 4th position back, that's for sure.
Yeah, we'll quickly run down this. Obviously, we've got a few battles going on track, so we'll just take a look at the championship standings quickly, how it affects this race currently. Obviously, last race out, Cooper won, and the gap to the lead, which is Kassar in the championship, Kassar leads on 112 points. He's only 30 points in front of Alex Cooper now in 2nd on 82 points, and it's Philip Cullen 3rd on 54. So today, obviously, Adam Rouse 4th in the championship, only 6 points behind Cullen. Cullen will extend his championship lead in 3rd position after this race if it carries on going like this. And Scruton right on the back still of Kassar. We've got traffic going into Magnus Beckett's. That's the new driver, Chan, who's going to struggle to get out of the way here. Kassar goes to the inside, and this is going to give Scruton a brilliant run down the back straight because Kassar was put massively offline there. So Scruton now well in the slipstream. He's going to receive the tow. It wouldn't surprise me if he just drives clean round the outside of Kassar. He's got the slipstream. He's going to be past him before they get to the apex. We're on board with Scruton. We're going to switch to the TV camera. Scruton, will he try and go completely around the outside? He does, but he goes very wide. Oh, is that? No, that's just a glitch. Sorry, that's just a glitch. Ignore that. He's still on track and he's still alongside. Is he going to the braking zone? There's going to be very close contact. No contact made there. So good driving from both to avoid that. But Scruton not giving up on this battle. But this is costing Kassar because Scruton spun. That's sorted that battle out now because that's put Scruton a good few seconds behind now. So that's sorted that one out. So Scruton's tough race does get tougher as it goes along. So Kassar now in 4th position on his own. It's 15 seconds now. Can he do anything about the 2 leaders? They're well in front. We're already 14 laps into the race. Like I said, if the results stayed as they are now, let's say if Cooper won, for example, he would take a bundle of points out of the championship lead of Peder Kassar. It's only 30 points as it is. So looking at the gap he would make 7 points on Kassar. So it would be a hell of a deficit for Kassar to lose. Obviously Kassar doing the best. We've seen him make some great overtaking manoeuvres, a great recovery drive on lap 1 as well. The 2 CSG seem to have stabilised now at a 2nd again. Cooper no longer all of the back of Schumacher. Halicons 7th and 8th still have Cullen and de Vos very close together. We'll switch to them because they're the closest pairing on track, and Cullen.
They're also fairly close to Skronowski as well. They're closed in quite a bit, and also they could be on the tail. But I think I've said this many times before that the harder these two fight each other, the easier it's going to be for Skronowski to make a break again. and pull away from them. Of course, they've got to try and, at least in some cases, work together as teammates. And well, that said, this looks like Cullen. Is that Cullen letting the Vos? I think he possibly is. It looks like that was possibly Philip saying, after you, Mr. DeVos, you are quicker at the moment.
I'm not quite sure why he's done that though, because Cullen's actually the quicker driver in that team for sure. DeVos isn't you wouldn't put DeVos down, although Cullen said he was struggling at this circuit, so possibly, like you say, at the moment he's saying after you, but he's actually passed him once. Cullen actually passed DeVos a few laps ago. Maybe now he just decided that once he got past he couldn't maintain the pace he was doing before, and they've decided that they're both the best way for them to catch Skronowski in front, like you say, is to stop battling and let DeVos get after him, because they were catching Skronowski before. He was in 6th position, struggling with that damaged car, no doubt. Just watching Kassar now, very sideways into the new hairpin, into the loop, and he's catching Terence Gresh now. He's only 4 seconds behind. Terence Gresh in 3rd position, doing a great job for Multiforce. Royce Croton down in 5th now, obviously after that spin a minute ago. Skronowski spun at turn 1, I believe, because he's now down in 8th position behind the 2 Halicon racing. So all of a sudden the tactics displayed by DeVos and Cullen to let each other by, it's worked anyway, because Skronowski's thrown it all away, and Wernerson, who's not really been that competitive during this race, is up in 9th position, right on the back of Skronowski. So great drive from him.
Just gonna have a look on the replay, and let's have a look. We'll see what happened through turn 1. Ooh, looks like he may have just clipped the curb on the inside through turn 1. He got it very, very sideways and just managed to get it anchored up before he went a complete 360. And they've got it back going again. But yeah, that did let both of the Hawkeye cars through. And in the process also that just put the lapped Adam Rouse onto the back of him as well. So he did lose 2 positions, so that is now Skronowski down to 8th place. That's rather unfortunate for him. And his next target is going to try and defend from is Morten Wernerson in the Green Stripes racing car. And he's only a couple of seconds behind him. So it's all go at the moment for the 2 Multiforce cars, that's for sure.
Martin Schumacher sets the fastest lap of the race on a 1:36.5. That's come from nowhere. That's a half second faster than they were lapping before. So they have got pace, the 2 CSG cars. That puts the gap to Kassar up to 15, nearly 16 seconds now. Kassar's last lap was a 36.8, so 3/10 slower than Schumacher. Schumacher suddenly staked his claim to his victory. Obviously the pit stops are very close approaching now. We're only a couple of laps away from the pit stops. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if some guys pit on this current lap. I was watching the battle currently. We was watching Newcomb and Bryson in 12th position. That's now split up. That was the only battle on circuit. At the moment, we'll look at Schumacher, because Schumacher's staking his claim for victory at the moment. He's pushing very, very hard. He's put 1.7 seconds on his teammate Alex Cooper. One thing I was going to say before that happened, Adam Rouse, obviously a lap down, as you say, probably not going to score any points today. That's really going to hurt him in the championship, because he was up to 4th position. And in fact, no one's going to overtake him, but he loses out to Cullen today massively for that 3rd position in the championship, which is pretty much best at the rest behind Kassar and Cooper. And it's a very valuable spot to take, because you get your name up there and people see that name behind the likes of Kassar and Cooper. They know you've done a good job, and Rouse has been very consistent this season with his top 6 finishes, and today is obviously a shame of what's happened. He's down in where is he down in now? P18. So he isn't going to score points today.
Yeah, he definitely had a very good season last year. He didn't do too bad. I think he did some races for, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe for TDR, I think, for triple double racing. Had some very decent results, and before that, I think he did some races with Nordjern, I believe. Skronowski gets a little bit of a twitch through Chapel as was watching as he laps Matthew Chan. But Ras is obviously, we know how quick Ras is. Obviously, he's currently also one of the test drivers for Nordjern. He also takes part in the practice sessions. So of course, keeping his hand in a Supercup, Super League car definitely does help in terms of keeping on the paces with everyone. Looking through some more of the field, see if there's any more drivers through here. Wernerson's having a bit of a time trying to get past
Jack Nicholls pits, sorry. Jack Nicholls the first of the top 10 into the pits. He was obviously in 10th position in the pit lane now, so he's decided to take on some fresh tyres. Hopefully he won't repair the damage he might have suffered during that contact, because it would take a long time, but he's away. It's a good pit stop for Jack. This will drop him outside the top 10, but only down to 11th position. Scott Bennett now was in 10th position, so a great race from Scott, and he's lapping at the moment. Consistent 38s, let's say, mid 38s, so that's good pace from Scott Bennett there, doing a great job. He said earlier, not used to seeing him that high up, and today I'm sure he'll be very proud of what he's achieved so far. Hopefully he can keep it on track, and he might get himself a top 10 finish, which would be great news for Scott. Just going to have to keep an eye on the leaders now. You've been watching Schumacher for the last few laps actually, because we're just keeping an eye on these 2 CSG guys. See what happens. See if anyone pits this time by. They're going to have to swap at some point, I would have thought, if they've got any tactics like that. If not, it's Schumacher who's taking his claim for the win. He's now 2.3 seconds in front of Cooper. So he's really pushing, and obviously not deciding to pit this time by. He comes across the line now. Doesn't pit once again. Gresh pits, yep.
Into the pits for third place from Multiforce. This will now... Saar carries on, so he will now take third place. Royce Grossman carries on. Next couple of cars we've got to look out for are the two Halcyon cars. So Terence Grett looking from the process he said to, he set the fastest lap of the race. That can't be true.
It is indeed true. He's at 36.0.
How do you manage that?
Where's that come from?
That's,
of course, yeah.
Oh, and Bart DeVos has spun on the pit. He's spun as he came into the pits, or half spun. He got it back together, but he pretty much almost lost it. But that's incredible how he's managed that.
It's a slight bug, sorry Scott. It's a slight, but obviously he's come in the pit lane. You cut half the entrance off, so obviously he's going to cross the line a good 5 or 6 seconds up on what he would normally would do. So
apologies for that then.
No, that's fair enough. It got us both out there, but still, the other drive, it's still a quick. It obviously shows he was pushing on the in lap because his first and second sectors were really good. And I was just looking further down the field as well. Skronowski's spun again in 7th position, so he's really struggling with that car. His lap times have dropped off into the 40s last time round, 37s and 40s. So, in fact, he did a 46 a couple of laps ago. So Skronowski clearly with some damage to that car.
Just can see whereabouts he spun. So let me look on the replay. And
it was through the turn 1 complex, I believe.
I did notice he went across the runoff over the Magnus Beckerson Chapel section on the
critical move here. Sorry, critical move. Bart DeVos, who did come out the pits, in front of. Just camera's struggling to pick it up at the moment. Not quite sure why they're not working once again. There we go. We're now looking at Bart DeVos. He just spun a moment ago coming out of the pits. Well, it's a half spin really, but that's allowed Jack Nicholls, who pitted a lap earlier, who's got the warmer tyres on, to jump him. Obviously Jack was behind before the pit stops, so Jack now back into the top 10 after that.
Just quickly jump in. We've got Schumacher and Scroton both in the pits at the moment. So leader is in the pits to make his probably one and only stop for this race.
Indeed, Cooper and Kassar carry on obviously. Gresh also carrying on this time by. He's obviously done his pit stop. Cullen also into the pits, so Gresh will move back up now. In fact, has Schumacher got a problem in the pits? Schumacher's got a problem in the pits. He's had a very long pit stop. Gresh has already gone by.
Yeah, Schumacher hasn't left.
Schumacher's having a dreadful pit stop. What's happened to Schumacher? He's still in the pit lane. This has ruined his chance. In fact, that's it. He's out of the points nearly. He's in 8th position now.
So
this is gifted. What on earth was that all about? There was no contact between. There was some slight contact between them during the racing there earlier on. Maybe some back mark as well. We didn't see, but that's wrecked his race. He's now coming out. He's in 6th position. Cullen's gone through. He's way in front. There goes Skronowski, who's just behind him. Sorry. So Schumacher comes out in 6th position. That's Chan, the back marker. So let's quickly take stock of this before Cooper will probably pit this lap. I would have thought. We're watching DeVos there. Sorry, but. We'll switch to Schumacher, see what happens here. We've got Cooper who doesn't pit this lap. No, he doesn't. He switches to the pit lane now, so Cooper pits. So this is for the lead. Kassar now 13 seconds behind, so he's taking some time out of Cooper, but it's not enough. Kassar into 2nd position. Terence Gresh back into 3rd position because he's jumped Schumacher by a good 20 seconds. He's in front now, or something like that. So he's way in front of Schumacher.
And what's more incredible is that as Cooper's pitted, Pedicazar's carried on. So this amazingly effectively. Our pole sitter, who lost it on the first lap, he retains the lead once again, but of course he still has to pit. Whilst you mention that, Scott, I've had a bit of a theory. Do you think that possibly, obviously with Alex Cooper as he exits the pits now is in the championship hunt, do you think possibly that could have been, in some ways, is there only a theory, could have been deliberate to allow Cooper to take the lead, do you think?
Nah, if he were going to do that, he'd lost 5 seconds. He'd just sat there for 5 seconds or something, but he wouldn't have lost. He's lost nearly, he's 20 odd seconds behind. I mean, Cooper's just come out of the pit lane. In fact, Cooper's going into Wellington Straight. Martin Schumacher's just coming into Copse. So that's almost half the track he's lost, which is a ridiculous amount of time to lose. Cooper's come out in 2nd position. Don't forget, Schumacher was in front before the pit stop. Schumacher's way down in 6th. And there's a good half a minute behind Gresh. You're currently watching a fantastic scrap for 7th position, which is soon going to turn into a 6th position because Schumacher's struggling to get his tyres up to temperature as well. I don't quite know what's happened to Schumacher, but this has really ruined any chance he had again on the podium. Kassar goes through in 1st position. He's only got 4 seconds on Cooper. He's on the new tyres, don't forget. Gresh in 3rd position, doing a great job. Roy Scroton 4th. Philip Cullen 5th, and Roy Scroton and Philip Cullen have all pitted. Schumacher's pitted. Jack Nicholls back up into 7th has also pitted. Marek Skronowski, as you watch Jack Nicholls go down the inside of the back marker Chan, that's Marek Skronowski just behind him there, we saw jump a few laps ago. And just behind these, it's Verneson who's coming up the inside as well. So Verneson, DeVos right behind this battle. So we've got a four-way scrap for 7th position. Waiting to see if Kassar pits this time by. We'll quickly switch back to him as he comes around the final turns. Will he peel right? No, he doesn't. He carries on. So he's doing a very long stint. This could pay dividends in a long... Now, is he going to try 0 stops? I doubt it, but we've seen this before from Kassar, where he does some very strange strategies and wins the race by a comfortable margin.
Well, if he does, obviously he's going to have to be fairly conservative. Unless he's gone for the harder tyres, I thought possibly that if he tries a naught stop strategy, his tyres will be absolutely wrecked by the end of his stint. So the gap's currently, as far as I can see, it's about 6 seconds or so, just over what I can see on my timing screen. So I think he actually pulled away from Cooper on this lap, of course. So that's quite interesting. Of course, we know Cooper's just come out of the pits. He's trying to get his tyres back up to temperature as they're a fresh set of boots on that CSU racing car. But still, gap's actually now 6.5 seconds. So amazingly, on these older tyres, is slightly pulling away, and that's rather surprising. Because
that's due to the fact that Cooper's tyres are stone cold, and for the first 2 laps, Cooper will really struggle to get his tyres up to temperature. And after that, I'm really expecting to reel him in pretty quickly if Kassar decides to stay out on them. Kassar has pit light on, apparently, according to Jason Muscat, who's also getting involved in this broadcast. Thank you very much for that. Schumacher lost 45 seconds, according to Dave Carsmith, in that pit stop. So something disastrous happened there, which has cost him any chance of a podium. Still a great scrap going for 7th between Marek and Jack Nicholls. Morten Verneson defending from Bart DeVos in 10th. So Verneson having a great race for Green Stripes Racing. Car's now coming on the back straight. We'll see if he pits this time by. Obviously he's going to come out in 2nd position, just in front of Gresh, I would have thought. Although it's going to be close, because Gresh is on, we've got to remember this, Gresh is on, he's on warmer tyres now. So even if Kassar does come out in front, and Kassar does pit this time by, so now the man we've got to watch is Terence Gresh in 3rd position.
I'll keep an eye on it.
Because we're watching him on screen now. So Gresh is coming now down the hanger straight. Kassar's just going into the pit lane. Now, it may be a big gap at first. It may seem like, oh, he's nowhere near, as Kassar will be leaving his pit box any second. Gresh is now coming around into the Copse corner. But the fact is that Gresh will have a lot warmer tyres, and Kassar's still got a long way to go in this pit lane before he can get off that limiter. Gresh is now coming into the final few corners.
He'll be out in front of me easily, I think.
He will be out in front, but the point I'm trying to make is the fact that Kassar will be on very, very cold tyres now. Now he needs to... Gresh is just coming around the final few corners now. Kassar's just got the pit exit. It's a big gap, so he should be okay. It's a lot more than I expected. As Cooper goes very wide through turn 4 there, trying to avoid Chan, who's really becoming a bit of a pain being lapped at the moment. Matthew Chan down in 20th position. He had a good qualifying, but at the moment he's really not obeying the blue flags correctly. He needs to take a look in his mirrors more often, because he's getting in a lot of people's way at the moment.
Oops, and just seen the pits. Nick Phillips has become the next person to spin in the pit lane, and quickly reverses it back out, and yeah, off he goes again. So that's a bit of an interesting time for the Woods racing driver.
Just quickly, as we're going to turn 1, so he's also looking on the inside there of Jack Nicholls. Doesn't make it stick and runs very wide through turn 1, which allows Jackson breathing space. And Marek ultimately making a mistake there, which cost him slightly. Scott Bennett has done his pit stop and he's come back out in 11th position, so a solid drive from Scott Bennett today. Really consistent, really impressed by that. So hopefully he can. In one minute, and Skonowski spins on the exit, which lets Verneson and DeVos through. So he's now down to 10th position. So another mistake from Marek, although it has to be taken into account that I think his car is slightly damaged, if not heavily damaged. So quickly, the pit stops are over. We'll run down the order. Alex Cooper leads the way from Peder Kassar by 10 seconds, although that gap will go up in his next lap or two because Kassar's tyres are very cold. Or did he just take fuel? He has done this before, where Kassar just takes fuel, which could explain why Gresh isn't so close. I reckon Kassar's just taken fuel and not changed tyres in that pit stop, which explains the 10-second gap. Gresh in 3rd position doing a superb job for Multiforce. Roy Scroton in 4th, also doing a superb job for Synergetic. Philip Cullen somehow got up into 5th position for all that. He was way down a minute ago, he's now up in 5th. Well in front of his Halicon Racing teammate, a good 12 seconds in front of Bart DeVos now. Martin Schumacher after a disappointing pit stop down in 6th position. Jack Nicholls back up to 7th after a strong race today, really has impressed. Morten Verneson 8th, Bart DeVos 9th, and you're currently watching that the big battle for actually watching Jack Nicholls, but we'll quickly switch to 8th position because Verneson has DeVos all over the back of him. Skonowski is just in the background after that spin. Scott Bennett is in 11th position after a superb job so far. Nick Newcomb also having a strong drive in 12th. Boyd Bryson 13th. Alex Rolls 14th. Adam Rouse standing 15th after that earlier crash. Miles Dixon, Jeff Mead, Chris Williamson, Nick Phillips, Matthew Chan are our final few runners. And we have Chris Allen, Mark Wicks, Andrew Morgan, Wesley Morris, Timo Toyka, Minigaus Columbus and Georgios Tavakos all out of this race. So quite a high attrition rate at the moment, only 20 cars remaining.
Certainly proving to be a car breaker is Silverstone at the moment. Trying to watch on screens who we possibly have. There's any interest close battle, actually the only close battle I can really see is that battle going on between Verneson and De Vos, and obviously Skronowski trying to tag on off the back of them again. I'm just watching Scott Bennett funnel through the arena section in 11. His next nearest cut driver behind him is Nick Newcomb in 12. He's got quite a sizable gap to him, so it should be alright. And trying to see if there's any more cars that are at
the next battle that will probably happen is Cullen and Schumacher, 5th and 6th. Cullen's only got a 2 or 3 second gap on Schumacher. Schumacher closing at a vast rate of knots. So yeah, we do think that Kassar only took fuel in the pit stops, which is what he tends to do quite often. I don't know why no one else has thought of that yet, because as Verneson now under severe pressure from De Vos as we head through Magus Beckett's onto the back straight now, hanger straight. And he's going to have De Vos right in the slipstream now, so Verneson's defensive tactics are going to be put to the test now, because De Vos is in the slipstream. This is for 8th position, don't forget. Not pulling up too quickly, but he has pulled up a lot in the last bit though. He's got a lot of RPM there, launches it down the inside. Verneson gives him the room in the Green Stripes racing car, but uses the exit to his advantage. Now he'll cover it to the left, but De Vos has been left a little bit of a gap and decides not to take advantage of it, so Verneson maintains that 8th position there. So good defensive driving there from Verneson. Very fair but abrupt defensive driving, which is what we like to see. But that's not the end of the battle for sure, because you can see De Vos is still right on the back. So will he have a go down into Wellington Straight, or will he even have a go now into the next few village complex corners, because he's right on the back. Verneson once again defending heavily, and De Vos goes around the outside. That's a superb manoeuvre once again. That's twice or 3 times we've seen that today where cars go around the outside. But it's not over, because Verneson's got a very good drive onto this Wellington Straight, and Verneson's car was very quick in a straight line. We're going to go on board with Verneson as you're right in the toe of De Vos now. He's going to the inside to defend. He hasn't gone far enough though, he has, because he's pushed Verneson to the outside now. Will Verneson return the compliment of going around the outside? He tries it.
Almost.
Will he make it work? He's on the inside for the next corner. He's done it as well. That's 2 outside passes in 2 corners. Superb racing from these two, the Green Stripes and Halicon. And De Vos trying to cut back, but it doesn't quite work, as you so mentioned, Scott. And once again, it's Verneson in front. Now, De Vos, this is round 3. What will happen this time? I'm sure De Vos won't try and move into Copse because it's very risky. He'll just wait for the back straight once again. Now, this is superb racing from these two. So, Morton Verneson, we're on board. Looking back, you can see Cullen just popping out to the left there to say, I'm here. I'm going to try it again this time by Maggots Beckett's 170 mile an hour plus. Verneson gets very wide on the entry to Maggots Beckett's complex, which is going to compromise him on the exit to the hanger straight. This allows De Vos the run. Car off there to the side, but nothing significant. Verneson, that stops Verneson going to the inside to defend. This allows De Vos then defends into the left-hander. And this, once again, De Vos denied the chance to overtake. Now, we've seen him last time round pass around the outside into the village complex corners. Once again, he's riding the slipstream. And will he set it up once again? Verneson going to the inside to defend, but I'm sure De Vos won't try it here. He's going to set you up in these next few, my friend. Here we go, we're on board Verneson this time. Looking back, and that's De Vos. It's not as close this time. De Vos launches down the outside once again, though. He's trying it again. And he's going to do it again, is he? He's got the inside for the next corner. Will he launch it? He does put it up the inside. There's going to be contact though. No, there isn't. Oh, no, who's that there? That's one of the Invision cars. That's the new guy, Chan. But Verneson this time by defends his position, so it's down to De Vos to try another outside manoeuvre. But once again, I thought he was going to try the outside line there. He did try it, couldn't quite make it stick this time around. What a superb scratch, Scott.
Absolutely, this is what Supercup's all about, just equal cars and even equally brilliant driving. It's fantastic. Big push from Bart De Vos again. He's done that twice now, and he's probably struggling for rear-end grip or well, at least through that corner. Now he's lost a few cars. Now he's got to do it all over again to try and get onto the back of Verneson's car. Whilst that was talking, just a very minor note, Miles Dixon has retired from the No Fear Racing drivers retired. I think the final straw was he spun up at the Vale corner, and that was the final nail in the coffin in terms of his chances in the race. Looking back up to the field, see if there's any differences. Oh, Bart De Vos has spun! Bart De Vos has lost it. And I think he lost it. I'm going to quickly just fast forward the replay and have a look at that. I didn't catch that myself, but let's have a look at this through here. It was through Marcus Beckers and Chapel. Let's see exactly what happened to him. Did he catch the curve wrong? Let's have a look. Goes through Maggots, through Beckett, and then Chapel. Oh, he got wide onto the grass, I think. Or he just lost it wide and lost it wide. I can't misspeak. He lost it and went wide, and he's gone back through. I don't believe he's lost any positions. He did it, yeah. Skronowski got through into 9th position, so De Vos went down 1 position. That let Skronowski back up. It was actually closing on these two very quickly with that battle they was having, but that let Skronowski back into 9th position. Obviously, he'd still be disappointed with 9th position. Skronowski usually a podium challenger. Not today, though. Obviously, some issues with the car, probably.
we've still got Cooper leading up front by 9.7 seconds from Cassar. So Cassar is closing down the gap, but it's not enough, and Cooper will win this race at this rate of knots because unless something happens, it's not going to change the result. Terence Gresh in third position doing a great job. He's got Roy Scruton only 5 seconds behind him though, so Roy's been closing that gap as well, so we've got to keep an eye on that last position for the podium. Philip Cullen in fifth, got Martin Schumacher closing him down, but not by as vast a rate of knots as it was a moment ago, so Schumacher seems to have lost his mojo, let's say, in that car at the moment. Vernerson 8th, and Jack Nicholls up in 7th, actually, I have to mention that, doing a great job, and he looks safe in that position now. He's got Vernerson 3 or 4 seconds behind him. Skonowski up in 9th, DeVos after that spin, and it looked like we saw him getting a bit twitchy on the power a couple of times before that spin, so I wonder if he's struggling with the rear tyres a bit.
Just looking quick on my map, I believe that now Schumacher and Cullen are fairly close to each other now, as you mentioned, even a bit close. More close than that, and they're coming through the final onto the pit straight once again. Gap between them is only roughly about, I'd say, just about 2.5 seconds, so it's not too much of a gap between them. In fact, it's probably less than that actually. Looking through the gaps, it is less than that. In fact, looking at that one, I'm trying to work this out on my live timing here. So yeah, I'd say it's roughly actually it's less than 2.5 in fact. But I'm watching as they come onto the Wellington Straight, and Schumacher's definitely the guy that's lapping quicker. Look at that, he's actually been lapping for about half a second, 0.6 of a second quicker per lap in the last few laps than the Halcyon driver in front of him. So Schumacher trying to make some kind of comeback, maybe possibly if he's available we can maybe try and speak to him after the race as to what exactly happened in that pit stop that effectively cost him the win, and handed it to his teammate and championship contender Alex Cooper. Looking up at the front here, just seeing Alex Cooper, he's now in the middle of 2 back markers. He's just lapped Boyd Bryson Woods Racing, and now just setting up the inside of Nick Newcomb in the No Fear machine.
Yeah, we were currently watching that scrap as well actually between Nick Newcomb and Boyd Bryson there for 12th. I think a nice little scrap there, just out on the fringes of the top 10, just a few seconds behind Scott Bennett, who's up in 11th still. I was watching that nice little scrap they was having there. Obviously we want to see more of the guys further down the field. Obviously something you might be supporting them. As Bryson, Dave taking a look down the inside of Newcomb. Newcomb's gone very wide, and that's let Bryson through, so that's gifted that position. He did the exactly same thing earlier, I'm sure, because Bryson was behind Newcomb earlier on and they let him by. Just a quick point out for the leaders, the gap down to 8.1 seconds now. Cassar is clawing the lead down. It's down to 8.1, but you need to take a second lap from now on if you want to win this race, as there are only 7 laps remaining.
And of course Cooper's just had to contend with a whole load of traffic. That's going to help Cassar no end in terms of efforts to try and catch up. Looking in fact in terms of the lap times, unless that's correct, I believe that on the last lap Bryson was actually quicker than Scott Bennett by quite a margin. But nonetheless he's still soldiering on.
We're watching Philip Cullen, in 5th position here. As you mentioned, he's got Schumacher right on the back of him now. Schumacher looks like he has significantly more grip, and did Cullen just let him pass there or what? Because he's just basically ran wide. He's defending now as we come down into the Copse corner. This is going to be risky. Schumacher hasn't got the same top speed as that Halicon racing car, and he has to settle for the 6th position as we go through Copse. But now he'll have to run on the exit. You can see he's got superior grip as we go through the corners. Cullen will just place his car nicely on the entry, and that'll leave Schumacher nowhere to go, but I'm sure Schumacher will just set it up for the exit, and that's exactly what he's doing. You see he's carrying far more corner speed there, gets right in the slipstream. We'll go on board with Cullen, see which way Schumacher decides to go. Will it be left or right as Cullen goes to the middle of the circuit? I'm sure Schumacher will look to left, but he hasn't got the top speed. He's in the slipstream, but he can't do anything about it. Will he lunge? No, he decides not to. He'll try and get the run off the exit of the corner, which is exactly what he does. This puts Cullen to the inside to defend, but Cullen doesn't decide to use the full width of the track there, and Schumacher had to think about it there, but didn't take the opportunity. I'm surprised he didn't launch it down the inside there, because he does need to get on with this, because then again I don't think he's got much chance of catching Scruton down the road, so this is a private battle for 5th at the moment. Gap for the lead down to 7.3, so Cassar is doing the second lap job at the moment, and it is working.
Of course he's now got to contend with that huge group of cars that Cooper has just lapped. He's already got past Boyd Bryson. Next up is actually Scott Bennett. And actually, interestingly, Scott Bennett's actually lost the place to Nick Newcomb. You see, Nick Newcomb's actually got past Scott Bennett, so I wonder possibly in the process of Cooper lapping this pack of about 5 cars, which Cassar's trying to just carve his way through. Look at that, straight second. Went past Nick Newcomb like he wasn't there. Sorry,
Schumacher has passed Cullen now. I just missed that on the screen. I believe the viewers saw it because we were watching that battle, so I'm not quite sure why. I believe it was in the new section, the village and the loop. So Schumacher is now back up to 5th position. That demotes Cullen to 6th. And yeah, as you say, that's a shame for Bennett, and he's now trying to retake that position. We're going to watch that now. A great strike going on. Bennett launches down the inside there. Now that was wheel-to-wheel contact there, but Scott Bennett retaliates and takes back that position. But unfortunately, that 3 or 4 second cushion he had has now been wiped out because Bryson's also right on the back of this. But Scott Bennett under pressure now to defend that 11th position. He's so very earned during this race as well. Up for the lead, 7.3, so stays static that time round. I believe Cooper did a 37.9, but like you say, Kassar has all that traffic to go through now, and he's still lapping it, so perhaps that's the end of his charge now.
Well, he has got past 4 cars, and actually got past with relative ease. I think probably a little bit easier than Cooper had in terms of doing that, but the gaps are probably static, as you said, about 7 seconds or so. I think it's gone up to about 7.5 now. So possibly it's...
Bryson going down inside of Newcomb, sorry about that, Scott, but Bryson's launched one down the inside of Newcomb. And it's worked perfectly because he's now back up into 12th position. So Nick Newcomb, after being currently was in 11th position, he's now down to 13th again. So these three are having a fabulous scrap. Scott Bennett's resumed his lead over these two now and pulled away slightly. So and DeVos really struggling with this car now. Actually, DeVos, who was up there earlier, he just fell back so fast and really struggling with the car. So not very as Cullen. And what's happened? Cullen is right on the back of Schumacher again. Something's happened to Schumacher.
Let me have a look.
I thought Schumacher was going to have a go then. Sorry, I was going to let him past, but all of a sudden, Schumacher's got Cullen right on the back of him again. It looked like he was. It looks like he's had a half spin out of the the loop complex by the looks of it.
I'm just having a look on the replay so if I can catch whatever's happened, and I'm not quite sure. To be honest. Maybe he had some kind of something through stow. I'm not sure. My kind of replay's lagging out slightly. I'm not sure. Maybe Cullen just had a superb lap and managed to close up, but I can't see anything in the replay that suggests he's had a problem.
I'm going to take a look myself.
Correct me, it was a hard spin through club, he just managed to catch it, and that put Cullen off the back of him, so yeah, you're right there, Lee, it was a half spin, big twitch from Schumacher, and that did put Cullen right off the back of the CSG driver once again.
Yeah, I thought Cullen was going to be close enough there for an attack down the back straight as well, the hanger straight, but it wasn't to be. Schumacher pulled away through the high-speed corners, obviously got more grip on that car than Cullen has, so that's resumed that 5th position now for Schumacher. Cooper still leads the way by 7.6 seconds. Bruno Costello just messaged in, and he's basically said, can Kassar catch Cooper? And the answer is probably no at this moment in time, unless something happens to Cooper. There's not much traffic on track now either, as we saw the gaggle of cars they both had to lap a moment ago. I must admit it did work in Kassar's favour more than Cooper's because he took 3 seconds out of him, but since they've both been in clean air, the gap stayed pretty static at 7.5 seconds, so it looks like Cooper's got this victory in the bag, and he'll take a good 3 points out of Kassar's lead, which will really help him in the championship obviously, and I think that's a surprise today. I don't think Cooper would have expected to win this race, and I don't think Kassar would have expected to finish second today either, so the championship's still alive. Cooper, every race we interview him, always says he's taking it race by race, but he's got to surely start thinking about he could possibly take this championship now.
Just looking back, remember that battle for 11th, I'll tell you something interesting. Boy Bryson's got past Bennett. Bennett's just got a bit of a toe off the back marker Matthew Chan, and Bennett almost tagging the back.
Oh, and Bryson gets a twitch on the exit.
And Bennett's going to try and send it up the inside into Vale, and almost takes his front wing off, but he manages to salvage it. For the moment, I think that's actually lost him a few car lengths in the process of that one, but it was all actually started when they were trying to lap, surprise Matthew Chan, and Bryson got caught up behind the Innovision driver, and that allowed Bennett to actually grab a toe off both cars to try and close in, and actually it worked to some extent, but obviously all his work kind of didn't really pay off when he tried to send it up the inside of Vale, to be honest. We've got a yellow flag on track somewhere, see possibly who that is.
Gronowski, sorry, in 9th position. He's right on the back. He's looking around the outside. We're switching to that battle now. He's looking around the outside of Verneson, and he takes it with ease actually there. He's going to run wide on the exit. No, he keeps it in check. This gives Verneson the chance to possibly lunge down the inside. No, he doesn't decide to do that. So he had a look though. Skrzydowski moves back up to 8th position. Not far behind Jack Nicholls actually, so possibly still a 7th position there. Bryson and Bennett have also split up. Simon Mellowich has also got in touch and said that Kassar will not catch Cooper because his car's pretty damaged, and obviously we saw the contact earlier that he had with Andrew Morgan, and it's really damaged his charge by the sound of it, because Kassar sounds like he's really struggling with that car. Struggling with handling, but not with lap time, that's for sure, because he's still lapping a lot faster. So down to 6.7 seconds now, the gap to Cooper. I'm sure Cooper's just coaxing it home now as he comes to lap Jeff Mead, who's well down the field in 16th position, actually 2 laps down, so Jeff having a bad day today.
I'm pretty sure that Cassar probably didn't even bother that, but even getting even looking at the damage when he was pit stop. They said I'll just go with possibly with just with fuel, just a bit of a splash and dash, and off you go. So I don't think he even bothered looking at the damage. He just thought he'd just take it and run. Gap is 6.2 seconds, and not to put a commentator's curse on it, but really he needs something drastic to happen to Alex Cooper in order to slash himself another win. He's getting closer and closer every lap, and the gap is down to about 6.5 seconds now. So, but it's been a valiant effort from Pedicassa. Obviously, he was down in about 11th or 12th place, even lower than that off the start, but he's managed to fight back up to second. So, definitely still staking his claim for the championship. Bit of flame from the exhaust as he heads through Luffield and then through Woodcote back onto the old pit straight past the. I believe in real life that'll be the support pits, and then down towards Cops. Still Skronowski, so in Greg, sorry, third place. Strossen doing well in fourth, and Martin Schumacher, almost said Michael Schumacher there. Martin Schumacher coming up to lap the ever troublesome Matthew Chan. I'm not quite sure what Chan's doing here. He's not even letting him. He's leaving the door wide open, but he defended the place there, which I'm not quite sure why he was doing that. Oh no!
Yeah, now he's tapped Schumacher. And what's happened to Schumacher?
I don't know what's going on there, to be honest. Not quite sure.
Chan, someone needs to have a word with that Chan because he's really not being very helpful with these back markers at all. In fact, he's basically become a nuisance during this race. I don't think Schumacher's very happy with what's just happened. Well, he won't be very happy with what's just happened there. And Chan now goes off the circuit. Chan really should park that car because he's going to cause an accident soon. What is he doing? What is Matthew Chan doing? Please, someone disqualify him. Please, someone. If anyone's listening, a race director's listening, please disqualify Matthew Chan because that is outrageous driving. What is he doing? We're not watching this on screen.
Look what he's done. He's put Cullen onto the back of him, and Schumacher will not like this. And look at Cullen. Oh, that's 3-1. I agree. What is Chan doing? He needs to really back out of that. And look at
and that's caused contact between Schumacher and Cullen, and that's really ruined both their races. Matthew Chan should receive a race ban at least for that. That is absolutely disgraceful what he's just done there. He's lagging all over the place as well. His ping's really high, and he's just caused himself no end of issues there.
Do you know what? I said that he was the ever troublesome, and I fear that's probably a commentator's curse. But I agree. That was just simply. Surely that he must have seen the blue flags or something. Seen the blue flag on his indicator on his screen to see those two cars. I really don't understand why he was trying to race those two. Whether it's to prove a point, I don't know exactly what he was doing, but that really, to me, that was I have to admit. And I have to agree, at least a penalty of some kind has to be applied to that, because that was just absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that for a long time. I mean, it's just so unaware of what's going on.
And what's interesting, look, that's so quick, they've actually caught back up to him again, so what trouble is he going to cause this time, I wonder?
Yeah, we're watching Cullen now, actually. Cullen is on the back of Chan. We'll go on board with Cullen. Schumacher's a few seconds. In fact, Schumacher's right on the back of us, actually. So, right, this time Chan moves to the right. Chan backs off, so perhaps he's been warned by the race director this time because he backs off and lets them both by. Now, that's what you should have done in the first. In fact, that's what you should have been doing for the last 34 laps, Matthew, because you definitely haven't been assisting the batters. Once again, he takes the wide line through turn one. So, Matthew Chan really impressing us with his lack of knowledge of blue flags. That's for sure. As now Schumacher's right on the back of Cullen again, so this has reopened this scrap for 5th position. We've got to keep an eye on the leaders soon though, because they will be coming around as Alex Cooper's just started the final lap now to take this victory. But we'll keep an eye on this Schumacher-Cullen battle as they come down the hanger straight. They've still got another lap to go. So Schumacher he's going to be on the outside here as Cullen defends the inside. But we've seen Schumacher have superior corner speed, and that's exactly what he's got this time by as we go on board with Cullen. Schumacher should be in that 5th position by rights. So Cullen really shouldn't be there, and Cullen's not there now because Cullen's spun. He's lost the rear into the corner. That's let Schumacher by, and I don't want to say that's right, but Jack Nicholls got through into 5th position in all that as well. We missed that. Oh no, he didn't. That's the. Where's Jack Nicholls? Jack Nicholls is in the pit lane. Yeah, Jack Nicholls is out to pit, so possibly out of fuel. But Jack Nicholls is out to quit. He was actually in 5th position. He did actually benefit from that, but he's into 5th position now. He's down to 8th.
I'll tell you what. If he's close enough, they might be able to put Scott Bennett into the top 10. But if you want a quick switch back to the leaders, we do.
Yeah, we are indeed. Yeah, I was just about to mention Alex Cooper's now coming round into Stowe Corner. He's driven absolutely superb today, Alex. He hasn't made one mistake. He's done everything right, and this is exactly what he needed to do for the championship. The gap's come down to 4.5 seconds, but Alex won't care about that. You can just see Simon in the background there. Alex won't care one bit because this has taken another 3 points out of Pedicasar's championship lead as Alex Cooper comes round the final corner to cross the line and win the 2012 British Grand Prix in the Supercup GPVWC series. and Peter Cassar takes the second position. Terence Gresh, and I don't care what happens from now on, but Terence Gresh in third position. He's going to cross the line now. We're going to go on board with him for the final few corners. Terence Gresh takes third position. He's my driver of the race for sure. Terence Gresh, so unexpected to take a podium. He had a great qualifying. He's going to take third position now as he comes across the line. So great job from Terence Gresh. I'm sure he'll be thrilled with that.
Quickly, because we've got a battle. Oh, at Cops, and look at we've got Bart DeVos and Jack Nichols banging wheels up towards Maggotts in Chapel. This is amazing, but they're banging wheels down straight towards Cops, and again Hannah Cops, and oh no, lost it.
That's DeVos who's spun, and he's in the front of Chan there. Chan just managed to avoid that, but no, that leaves Jack Nichols.
And Boy Bryson's gone off as well. I know Scott Bennett's gone off as well. Last lap action, Scott Bennett, I think Boy Bryson and Scott Bennett have made contact. I'm going to quickly try and switch to replay to see exactly what happened, because
they've already finished the race though, so it was into turn one. They already crossed the line. I think it was just a very close finish between them two, and they may have been just celebrating by smashing each other off the circuit, which has certainly caused some yellow flags into turn one, but it doesn't matter because so Roy Scroton takes fourth position, another great drive from Roy. Martin Schumacher fifth after that troubled final few laps. Phil Cullen sixth, Marit Skłodowski seventh, Morten Vernersen eighth position, Jack Nichols just coming across the line there, you see ninth position. Great job from Jack today. He's had some issues, but he takes a ninth place finish. That's really solid from him, and Bart DeVos rounds out the top 10.
And then we've got, I believe, Boyd Bryson 11th, and then we've got I'll switch my screen here. Scott Bennett in 12th, Nick Newcomb 13th, Adam Rouse 14th. He's fighting back after his spin early on. And we've got Alex Rolls 15th, Jeff Mead 16th, Nick Phillips 17th, Chris Williamson 18th, and Matthew Chan, all trouble as he's course today, 19th and 3 laps down on the race winner. Retirements for today, pretty high rate of attrition today. We had quite a few, I think we had about 8 or 9 cars retire today. In order from soonest to latest, we had, or soonest to earliest, it was Miles Dixon 20th, then we had Simon Crane 21st, Chris Allen 22nd, who retired with suspension failure, Mark Wicks was out on 23rd, Andrew Morgan classified 24th, that's a shame for him after his contact with Peter Cassar. 25th was Wesley Morris, 26th was Timu Toika, and then 27th was Mindaugas Columbus and Torrent Motorsports, and Georgios Davakos out on the first lap unfortunately, and 28th and last. And that's it. It's a pretty decent race, pretty eventful to say that, but I believe we're going to try and get the top 3, or at least some drivers in for interviews, in to have a discussion and see from their point of view. So
yeah, there's quite a few in TeamSpeak. I can see Alex Cooper usually pops up for interview, so we're just waiting for them to. Alex is now come into the booth. We've also got Martin Schumacher's done as well. I'm not sure if he'll come up for an interview, but hopefully he can explain what he thought of that battle in the last few laps. Just waiting for a few more. As we wait for a few more, we'll bring Alex Cooper into the broadcast booth. So Alex Cooper is now in the booth with us. Obviously today taking a superb victory today, probably an unexpected victory as well, as Cassar seemed to have the legs on everyone today. But it just shows one mistake from Cassar and Cooper's right there to pounce, and we saw some great team battling between the two CSG cars of Martin Schumacher and Alex Cooper. Alex, talk us through your race, and firstly, well done as well on that victory. Excellent drive once again.
Yeah, cheers. Unexpected. After qualifying and in warm-up, my race pace was looking pretty bad, and then at the start I got a good start again, which is unusual, and I saw Petter having like a half spin, and from then I was just battling Martin, but I didn't think I would catch him, but then he had his incident in the pits. Then I thought Petter had his aero stopping, but he stopped, so then it would just control it to the end, really.
We saw, obviously, like you say, Schumacher, you were struggling to catch at some point. He put in some seriously quick laps just before the pit stop series. Just a question, obviously, Dave Carl-Smith mentioned that there's no team orders in CSG. Obviously, I'm sure you'll confirm that as well. Have you got any pre-race, did you have a pre-race chat before? Obviously, Schumacher's not in the championship hunt, he's out there for himself. Would he have let you pass at the end for that victory, or do you reckon he would have taken it for himself?
I told him not to let me through. I don't think I really got a chance in the championship, so we can just race for wins and race freely, really.
We mentioned this earlier about the fact that you're only now 27 points behind, I believe. I know it still sounds quite a lot, but one DNF from Cassar puts you right back in there, because you're obviously there to catch the wins when they're needed. And we've mentioned we've asked you every race pretty much, are you thinking of the championship? Every time you said no, we're just racing race by race, which is a great attitude to take, because obviously you can see what it's doing, it's getting you the race wins. But surely you've got a slight feeling that possibly you could challenge for this championship. It's got to be a little inkling into it now. Sure.
I don't know, if Petter has a DNF then maybe, but I can't see him DNFing, and He can afford to pretty much finish second in every race, so I can't see it going down to the wire.
Apologies for that. For some reason my TeamSpeak crashed there when Roy Scroton decided to message me. We'll bring also Roy Scroton down here as well, but we also Scott, do you have any questions for Alex?
Yeah, Alex. Again, congratulations on that race. Do you have any kind of idea at all as to what caused Martin's problem? Did he say anything at all, or was it a case of? Did he say what kind of problem he was having in the pits?
Yeah, when he broke for the turn for the line, he said it just snapped and he spun and he must have hit the wall, but I don't know much more.
Okay, and of course, it should, I believe, this keeps your lead in the championship. Of course, do you think that the fact that Petr got a bad start, do you think obviously that was obviously very beneficial? And obviously with the battle with yourself and Petr, do you think, of course, it's going to get even stronger going for the next few races?
The next few races, I don't think they'll be strong for me, particularly Monza, because on the low downforce package I was pretty bad at Canada, so I'm not expecting much there, but I don't know, if I can just get close I'll be happy. I can't see myself beating him on a regular basis, but if I can get within a few tenths then that'll do.
Well done once again today, Alex. We're really happy to see obviously you take this victory. Really great drive once again, no mistakes. We've also got our second place man today, Kassar, who obviously still leads the championship by a significant amount, so he's not got too much to worry about just yet. But obviously he had some issues himself today off the start. We saw some contact with Andrew Morgan. Petr, just take us through your race.
Yeah, first in the start I almost killed the engine by releasing the clutch too fast, I think, and then giving too much throttle afterwards and almost spun out. So I think I was around 20th into turn 1. And surprisingly it was almost easy to get past the guys, even though I was probably the slowest guy on the straight. And Andrew was actually the only guy that I was struggling to pass, so I lost 5 seconds there or something. And yeah, in the incident I think he got alongside a bit too late and far too close to the wall. So I was expecting him to pull out and just stay behind, but clearly he didn't. So we hit in the turn 1, and I could easily have spun and hit the wall in the outside. So a bit lucky at the same time.
Yeah, it was a very dangerous pass. We saw it live. We was glad that you received no damage from, let's say race-ending damage from that, because obviously it could have been a much bigger collision. Obviously Andrew put him out of the race because he went into the wall. Just a quick point back to earlier in the race as well. Obviously we saw you at the start of that spin, then we basically described it as a champion's drive back through the field halfway through the race, because we saw you do a few overtakes around the outside of people, which was really exciting to watch for all of us. So obviously big thank you to yourself for that entertainment. Just talk us through some of them overtakes, obviously around the outside, and obviously the downforce packages can really help assist the overtaking. But today we described it as a champion's drive today, from that lackluster start, let's say, unexpected start from you, to come back to where you've done today. I think that's a great drive.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I only remember one of the passes in, I think it was after Hangar Straight on the outside, but I think there was. So I had the more downforce than most guys, so I was just able to keep up with the guys on the straight, and then of course braking later and going on the outside due to the more downforce.
I'll continue the Wimbledon theme up here and now pass this to Scott Woodwith for the next question. Any questions for Kassar?
I suppose really at the start, did you think, obviously, as you said, when you pulled the clutch in too fast, do you think possibly that you were going to have a pretty difficult afternoon, or was it just basically just a case of, I've done this before, I can just easily carve through the field? Did you find it relatively difficult, or was it fairly just easy for you to carve through the field?
Can you say again?
Did you, after the incident at the start where you almost stalled the engine, did you find it relatively easy to carve through the field, or was it particularly challenging on a circuit like Silverstone?
Actually, it was easier than I expected, because I knew I was slower than the guys on the straight. But I was a bit lucky that some guys spun just in front of me and so on. I think I was going from 20th to 14 or something already on the first lap, and then almost 10th or something in just 2 or 3 laps. So I was a bit lucky.
And also going into the next few races, I mean, Alex has already said that he's going to struggle on circuits like Monza with the low downforce package. I mean, is that something that you equally struggle with, or is it going to be, as you possibly going to see that as an opportunity to grab some points back and possibly reclaim the lead in the championship?
He still has the lead, sorry.
Yes, so far I haven't had any problem with low downforce. I already used it at Canada and China, and I think I at least got podium both races. So.
Well, thank you anyway, Petter, for your input there. Just going to move on to Roy, who, and obviously well done as well, Petter, on that second position today. Obviously, damage limitation day, and you pretty much got the best you could out of it, especially with the damage. Roy Scroton obviously finished 4th today, just outside the podium positions. It wasn't expecting too much before the race, starting 8th position. Obviously, that's one of the biggest jumpers of the race, up to 4th position, plus 4 places. Roy, well done for this 4th position. Really good race we saw from you today. A couple of mistakes, but I think everyone had a few today, so well done. Talk us through it.
Yeah, thank you. I had a great start and could avoid better in the first corner. Then I tried to catch up with Terence, but then I spun. Then Casa was right behind me. So we had a great fight, and he passed me on the outside, so that's good job from him. I tried it, but I couldn't do it, so good job from him. Then a couple of laps later, I spun again. I tried to do a lap later my pit stop than Terence. I won a few seconds with it, but not enough. And I hope that Terence did make a mistake, but he didn't, so good job from him as well. So I finished 4th. Without my mistakes I could have been 3rd, I think, but well, 4th is very good for me if you saw how it went in the beginning of the weekend. So yeah.
Yeah, we're seeing some ever consistent results from yourself now. You're really starting to get on the pace and challenge up front now. Roy Scroton a year ago, I would never have put in 4th position. That's no disrespect to you or anything. I would have never put you in 4th position and getting 2nd positions, but you've really improved, and which is why obviously last time out you received driver of the day from myself. I mean, you've really improved this last, well, let's say a few months actually. It's been the last 2 or 3 months you've really seemed to have upped your game. So any reason why that's happened?
No, I don't know. I'm now with Synergetic, so they help me with setups and race strategies and so. But yeah, it just falls into place at the moment. So yeah, I like the circuits and the mod. I'm getting comfortable with it. So yeah, I'm really happy. I didn't expect myself to be here a year ago. So yeah, I'm very happy with the result.
Yeah, really well done on them as well. It's a really good achievement what you're doing so far. It just shows if you put the work in and get the right team around you, you can really improve significantly. So it's a good incentive for people out there as well who are also struggling around, in lower positions to what they probably want to be in. And it just shows you if you really put the effort in, you can get up to these podium positions. Scott, any questions for Roy?
Just a quick one. I mean, you said before the race that you expected it was going to be pretty difficult. You have some difficulties on track. And was it during the race? Were you finding the grip to be as difficult as you predicted, or was there surprisingly a lot more out there in the race today?
No, surprisingly the grip was much better in the race. So yeah, the spins I made, it was my own mistake. I went too far on the throttle and too much on the curbs. But yeah, I don't know what happened to the setup, but it was much better, so yes.
Excellent stuff.
Excellent. Well, we have a bit of promotional work. That's all the interviews it looks like we're going to get at the moment, because I can't see anyone else who was lined up for one. We did have Martin Schumacher pop in, but he decided not to have an interview, so we'll leave it there for interviews for now. We do have a bit of promotional work which was handed to me by the Midnight Racing team, I believe, and I believe it's the work of Nick Rowland and Lucas Euler, obviously the top two in the Super League Championship. This is basically looking toward tomorrow night's Super League event, which is obviously held at the British Grand Prix Silverstone, same circuit we've just seen tonight in the Supercup series. So basically I'm going to just show you this track preview which has come from the Midnight Boys to basically try and build up for tomorrow night's race. Obviously Nick, myself and Lucas will all be racing tomorrow night. Obviously Scott will be taking part in the practice session tomorrow night as well for the Drake team. And this is basically their track preview, so I'll pop that on the screen now for you. And if we all just keep quiet for a few minutes, let's enjoy this from Midnight. So thank you to Dave Carl Smith as well for passing this to us.
Welcome to the 2012 GPVWC British Grand Prix track preview. We are at Silverstone for round 10 of the Super League and Supercup Championships, a track length of 5.91 kilometres, 18 turns, a distance of 52 laps in Super League, 36 in Supercup. Joe Consiglia won Super League in 2011, with Lewis Redshaw in Supercup in 2011. Supercup stands like this, with Petter Castle on 112 points, with Alex Cooper on 82 points, and Phil Cullen in third on 54 points. Lucas Euler leads Super League on 107 points, with myself and Nick Crones on 106 in second, with Lee Morris on 85 in third. We join James Shepherd on board the Hawkeye for a lap of Silverstone. Head down to turn 1 of Abbey. Through turn 1 you lead into Farm Curve, still holding 7th gear from Abbey, down into the loop section. First part's Village, first gear into Village, first gear then leading into the loop. From the loop you then lead up to Aintree Corner. From the loop you need to build the speed, best possible traction, flat out through Aintree, onto the Wellington Straight, building the speed into 7th gear here now for James. Building up to 315 km an hour before heavy braking into Brooklands. Second gear, hold the left, into the right then of Luffield. Luffield's first gear then building the speed from Luffield. Got to get good traction out here before going through Woodcut. Woodcut leads into the National Straight. From the National Straight, we then dive down to Cops Corner. This is going to be flat out 7th gear. This is going to be superb. Jamie Shepherd flies through Cops Corner there in 7th gear, holding the speed all the way through before going into Maggots. The first part, Maggots, is 7th gear. Double downshift before going into Beckett. Beckett's is 5th. Then down into 2nd gear here for James before exiting of Chapel, building the speed out of Chapel into 7th gear. Now we go along the infamous Hanger Straight before we come up to the heavy braking zone of Stowe Corner. 7th gear down into 4th here for James, Stowe Corner. Hold Stowe Corner all the way through, building the speed back out of Stowe before heavy braking for Vale. Left, first gear, right, first gear, before building the speed back up to go flat out through Club Corner. Through Club Corner we go, and that's our full Silverstone lap from James Shepherd of Hawkeye.
Okay, so thank you to Midnight Motorsports for that one. I believe it was, as like I said, I believe it was Nick, Roland and Lucas Euler who put that together. Haven't actually seen it myself yet, so it'd be good to watch back. Hope you enjoyed that anyway. Obviously, the next time you can tune in is tomorrow night, which will be the Super League event here at Silverstone, as we've already discussed. Tonight we've had a great race for the Super Cup race. Once again, they've really provided a lot of entertainment for us. Thank you to all the interviewees. Roy Scroton, Peter Cassar, Alex Cooper all came up to the booth. David Junt also popped up earlier on. So thank you to them guys. And also I'd like to thank Cameron Mellish for setting the broadcast up as usual. It's really easy to use. I thank Dave Carl-Smith obviously for being the race director and also providing us with the information during the race. Also thank you to Jason Muscat as well for the spots every week. He spots for us every week, pretty much provides us with information as to what's going on the track. So thank you to Jason Muscat for that. And that pretty much rounds up the broadcast for tonight. Obviously, like I say, tomorrow night, same time, Super League Series. Come and watch me get thrashed once again. So I'm sure that'll be fun for everyone to watch. Obviously, Scott will be taking part in the practice sessions tomorrow night. So you can keep an eye on how Scott's doing. I'm sure there's many fans for Scott out there as well.
I disagree with that. I'm not really that well known as a driver. Commentator, yes, probably driving no, but not to praise. I think you probably go. I've got untapped talents that I've yet to kind of really delve into yet. I haven't got the proper control set up. So, but we'll get there one day.
Of course, that was the voice of the co-commentator Scott Wubbis tonight. I was about to say the biggest thank you to for joining me tonight in the broadcast. I'm going to build it up to a crescendo there, Scott, and bring you in at the end there. But you've jumped in early, which means you've ruined my crescendo now. So you're not driving tomorrow night now, so you won't be seeing Scott on track tomorrow night.
Fair enough.
Now I'm joking, but yeah, thank you to Scott for for the assistance tonight he's provided with the broadcast. We've had really good fun up here. It's been really great having him up here, and it's been a really good race. Scott, final thoughts?
Well, again, my pleasure. Always a pleasure to jump in the commentary box with anyone, whether it be Lee or anyone else. Obviously, good to develop some more experience. But I think for today, it's been actually a really good fantastic race tonight. It's been absolutely brilliant. Some great battles. Some unexpected kind of results as well as to what's happening, and yeah, it's been a fantastic race. Hopefully, I'm hoping that the Super League race will be just entertaining, but no disrespect, I fear it won't be as much. Obviously, no disrespect to it. Obviously, the Midnights, they're Lucas and Nick are two fantastic drivers, and to make any prediction, not to put any dampeners on it, I'm predicting another Midnight win, but you know, it's GPWC, it's sim racing, anything can happen. So, but yeah, on the bottom line, it's been a fantastic night's racing, and hopefully tomorrow night's Super League will be just the same.
Indeed, on that note, mentioning the Midnight, I'd like to take this opportunity to apologise as well for my comments last week during the interview. It probably wasn't really justified. Well, it wasn't justified in any way. It was basically after race, red mist, and that won't be happening again. So apologies to the Midnight Racing team. We've already sorted and smoothed that all over, so there'll be no issues tomorrow night. We'll all be turning up, giving our best, and providing some excellent racing for Scott Woodward to commentate on. So. Thank you once again for tuning in, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. I see we've had some comments on Facebook thanking us for the broadcast. As always, your feedback is welcome, whether it be negative or positive. And this has been and this is us signing up from Silverstone, that is. This has been a GPVWC production for simrace.tv. Thank you very much and good night.
Thanks so much, guys, and see you.